Is that the way we planned it?
Whoa. It'll be interesting.
My ears are hot. Along with the rest of me.
Hell yeah. You got business shorts on today?
Let's see. Oh, can I not control my ears? You're controlling that, Blake?
I got you.
All right, pull it up a little bit. A little bit. There we go.
I'm fine with mine however it is, Blake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
We're live streaming today. And we're on the road. So that's why it's a bit of a choppy start. But we wanted to do it just to be able to make the mistakes now so we won't make them in the future. Now I need a little more me in my ears. That's all right. One of these days, we'll practice this early. I mean, that's what this is, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm fine with whatever, guys. I just want to be clear.
I'm not complaining. I'm saying this is we planned on choppy waters.
It's all new gear. It's a new setup. We just need a second. And we'll be all right.
Well, no one's complaining to you. Don't act offensive.
Here's
I just want to be clear. I'm cool with whatever.
And
I see the
here's
dishes
Jake. Good guy, Jake.
Dish is still here.
Anyway, we're at the Dallas Athletic Club.
Just got to look into Blake's life.
What's that?
Deal with dish problems?
No.
You ever let stuff soak? Julie loves that. Not the BYU soak.
No, Julie loves all forms of soaking.
Just when there's
joining us today, Julie Dobbs.
Yeah,
Hi.
there she
at
is.
least for part of the program.
Hello, there I am.
We all remember her as a Dallas Stars ice girl many years ago.
What?
That's not what you did with the Stars?
That's not what I did with the Stars.
Oh, you were a Fox Sports girl. It was
Are you thinking of
Kami and Julie.
I wasn't either of those things, no.
What an era where they tried to push Kami and Liddy on us.
We didn't
right
know what we
before
had.
Me Too.
Yeah, it definitely was. And then the weirdest thing about that story, I don't know if you guys recall this, but you remember when there was like the big hack and leak of a bunch of nudes of famous people, like famous women?
I do.
I thought you might. And it was like Megan Fox and Jennifer Aniston.
The one who's with Verlander.
Yeah, Kate Upton.
Yeah.
And then like Liddy.
Yeah,
she
no,
was
it's
like sandwiched in there,
It
wasn't she?
It was
very-
Kami.
Okay.
But either way, it just shows you
Why
how
do you know that so well?
I remember the pictures.
it shows you how proximity
Moneybelt.
yeah. Proximity makes it better. Like a news story, you're more interested in something that happened in your hometown.
Or like your neighbor.
Yes, yeah. If my neighbor was on that
Yeah.
that leak,
Might
I would have
prefer
been
that over
more.
Kate Upton. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a whole era, and I remember kind of living it from the other side of it at Fox Sports Southwest when it was kind of like, people like Dana Larson and Emily Jones who had been there forever and like couldn't get a polo shirt to wear around, and then all of a sudden they drop in Kami and Liddy and they get all the Fox Sports gear they could ever want. It was an interesting time. It was a kind of short-lived experience, but they are sweet girls.
Do you think Julie hears a lot of the complaints behind the scenes from the
Oh my gosh.
from Emily or whoever?
The hens.
the old crows.
Yeah. They've
Hey,
never been in a locker room.
they have longevity. They do have that.
I wonder what happened to them. Not Emily and Dana. They're fine.
They're the ones that have longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kami and Liddy. I don't know. Let's book them.
Kami's in Utah. I
'em,
follow
Blake.
her on the socials. Yeah. And I think Liddy's like a mom of 3 maybe, living somewhere around here.
We don't need to book her then.
Moms are boring.
Do you think
I say that as a
that there
mom.
were like lower level female media members? I suppose I'm playing into your EA theory here, but that thought, maybe if I could get in this leak.
What's the EA theory?
That the keyhole is the only reason she's famous.
Oh,
the peep
I
show,
was
but-
thinking of EA from the ticket.
No,
Okay.
no.
Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, EA of Fox Broadcasting.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. You know what I was, and Blake, you know this too. I was shocked to find out just yesterday. Because, you talk about Kardashian and put out a sex tape, and that's kind of a way to do it as well.
Yeah.
To get yourself a little bit famous and then ride that into whatever you are going to ride it.
No pun intended.
She's back, folks.
I mean, it's a Kardashian, and then you said,
Yeah.
right, that, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody sent me yesterday, and Blake, I know you got the same thing, because it was after Blake was imitating Antonio Brown and said something about she keep that thing hairy.
Yeah.
About Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Or he
Yeah.
was betting she keeps it hairy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
She just looks
So gross.
Looks
as
like
if
the
it's
type.
Perhaps hairy. I'm not going to disagree with that.
She's kind of a McPoyle too, by the way. The more I see her face, the more I'm like, you probably drink a lot of milk.
Anyway, I was sent a picture of Demi Moore in Playboy like in 1983
Uh-oh.
because it's absolutely extremely hairy.
Yeah.
It's-
okay. No, I didn't mean I
Just-
did
just
mean it. I
hairy.
just shouldn't have said
You
that.
let it
Yeah.
out, and then
Yeah.
you're trying to backtrack.
Yeah.
That's how Jake feels about Harry.
Why are you looping me into
And
this
that's
story?
okay, Jake.
Because the same guy that sent you the picture sent it to me.
And they knew not to send it to me, I guess.
Yeah, I've gotten that picture more than once.
See,
Why
I-
are y'all getting these pictures of Demi Moore's Harry?
We get weird emails. See, I thought you were going to bring up, you know how Jimmy Football will send us, or used to, whenever we had ticket emails.
Yeah.
And he would any sports event that happened, he would send you updated odds. So Kevin Durant goes to the Suns. How did that change the championship odds? Or first coach to be fired in the NFL? Blah blah blah. I got like a form email from a PR agency regarding Hawk Tua girl
Oh, okay.
with a bunch of odds.
Okay.
Hawk Tua girl, Haley Welch, odds on to pose nude in Playboy -110.
She's favored?
Yeah. Appear on OnlyFans or create an OnlyFans.
Playboy's still a thing?
I thought it wasn't. I don't
Okay.
think there's I thought they killed the print version at least, but create an OnlyFans -250.
I would put a lot on that.
Appear in sex tape +200.
Yeah. Okay.
But the fact is, somehow you can.
You can bet on Hawk Tua girl.
Yes, and this guy sent this email exactly like it was, Dak Prescott's next team. Like it's exactly the same as the emails we've gotten about every sports odds.
That's where we are today.
You can bet on how many Instagram followers she'll have on December 31st, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it'll die down by then, don't you think?
Well, there's one way to keep it from dying down. And
Yeah.
it's the things that I mentioned in
Yeah.
the previous round of odds.
She'll probably ride it as long as she can.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're at the Dallas Athletic Club. The reason
Incredible.
Julie is here is because she is a member.
I'm so fancy.
Goodness.
I'm so
My
fancy.
Gosh.
We're totally loaded.
It is very high-toned. I went through the locker room trying
Just
to
kidding.
find my way to the bathroom. That takes a while.
Yeah.
And,
Did you pass the wine cellar?
all the locker? Is there a wine cellar? All the lockers have like gold-plated names on them, so you know which locker. I'm just
Wow.
used to 24-hour fitness, where I try to like 12.
Yeah.
Locker 12.
Yep.
But no, these are
They're fancy.
they're awesome, and then you can go in there and shave and shower, and
Yeah.
they got the combs in the thing and the
It's incredible.
Mouthwash?
It continues our streak of being places that we don't belong, for sure. And this is probably the highest level of that. And when I walked in one of the main dining halls, I think there was a child's birthday happening. And they looked like they were all having a great time. But I got mad briefly because I'm like, one of these sons of bitches is going to be my boss.
absolutely. If you're lucky,
Yeah. Like at best, my kid's boss.
just start going in there kissing ass right away.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Handed my business card.
Like,
Yeah.
I
It's like
can,
an 8-year-old.
I can tell you from personal experience, they do have everything you would need to take a shower here.
Ooh. You took a club shower today?
No, you didn't.
You grabbed a shower?
Warren and I hit the links this morning.
Oh,
Oh.
you did.
Oh.
Look at you.
See, I
So-
thought he was here pretty early. Like, we had a call this morning at 8:30, and I'm like, I know he has to set up early.
Yeah, I thought it was here to help set up with Rob for the live stream.
Maybe we're learning a little bit.
So Rob is in here by himself.
Maybe we're learning a little bit more about the disaster that was the
I
start
wouldn't
of
call
the
it a
show.
disaster. I think it's just a
Yeah,
figuring
we didn't
out
even play the
process.
open. We had an open prepped and ready, and you edited it.
I think we got off.
Rob was having
okay.
to do 2 jobs because
Right.
he's out there getting up and down.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
had you
I-
been in here earlier, the open would have run smooth.
I don't think we can prove that.
I've already been able to tell. So y'all have been doing this for a while, and I've only popped in once, twice, I don't know, whatever. Y'all are very much a dysfunctional family. And in a dysfunctional family, you have to let the husband or, the person who's doing a lot of the work take some time away to golf to keep them happy. And that's what Blake did this morning. And so there's a little bit of a mistake to kick off the show. The happiness that Blake got out of his round of golf this morning.
Now we're learning about her home life.
Right, yeah. She's been trained well. Way to go, Kelly.
Is more important than that little glitch, okay? And it's going to take him further along down this road of this y'all's little dysfunctional family.
And then he showered here.
Than that little problem.
Better than not.
Yeah, I'm sitting right next to you, so I appreciate it. It's just an aggressive play. Did you bring an apple? They probably have an apple for you.
Yeah, I have a post-show apple and protein drink.
They probably could have hooked you up with both of those things. How'd you
think so?
Could
I have had a post-show apple? Okay.
Your little lunchbox with butterflies.
Yeah, they've got apples, buddy.
Post-show apple
They've
and
got
protein
everything
drink.
here.
I bet they have a fridge you can put it in.
You think? Well, I have
Put it in the
a
wine cellar.
cooler
Oh.
right there. Yeah, Warren Sibley is the man. You may recognize him from Sitting in the Den. Is this our first ever double 690?
Probably seen.
Although every 690 is double, but seen, yeah, that
Seen
he's
maybe,
been involved.
But yeah, I think he's the first repeat customer.
Okay, and
We-
Seen, of course.
We call that retention.
We do.
I don't know.
We're learning business words, Julie.
I know.
Oh, dude,
I'm so proud of y'all.
I wish I wrote it down. We were in a business meeting yesterday. Like it was a sales thing, and Blake had like some business terms I was really proud of.
Good job.
Do you remember?
I don't remember the
You were
terms.
involved.
I was impressed with Blake in the sales meeting yesterday.
Yeah, he
I was
was
impressed with everybody.
shortening some business terms. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
have
think-
some synergy.
I think he just wanted to impress Kelly,
Who doesn't?
and you could tell she was.
And we had just listened to the J.J. Redick press conference where they're just throwing all those terms around.
Yeah.
So I don't know the ability. Probably it would not be possible to see Warren, but famously, I believe he looks like if John Cena weren't a wrestler. Isn't he? Huh?
Here, we have a headset. We throw that on there.
Oh, yeah.
I said I was the first one.
Yeah, you look like a non-steroided version of
like
John Cena.
With
and
roids,
he's a handsome
with
fella.
roids, he's an action. Warren's an
There you
action
go.
hero.
Yeah.
An action hero?
Yeah.
Literally the next week, here, someone said, "You look just like John Cena."
It's like Joe Thomas.
Yeah,
6
when he
months
stopped when he
after
stopped
retiring.
playing.
But then
In
I googled
reverse.
him, and it's not like saying you look like Brad Pitt.
Well, no, I mean he's a
He's
bankable
fine.
Hollywood star. I think
Yeah.
that's a
but
pretty big deal.
He gets
That
more
guy's
on
getting-
moxie than looks, right?
He's getting tail left
Combo
and right, bro.
of both.
Okay,
Do you
And
know
that's
that
the
for a
goal.
fact?
it's better than Rudy.
That's really the goal of
It's
it.
better than if I said you look like Rudy. Yeah,
Yes.
and you get to look like him without being the guy that they send to kids who are dying.
Huh?
Isn't that one of like Shane's bits? Like he's a very popular Make-A-Wish option for like a 10-year-old.
Oh.
Like if things are going poorly, like John Cena's probably the Grim Reaper. Of,
I thought he said it was.
Aw.
it was for
He's walking
His
into your
retarded
hospital
cousin
room.
or
You know
brother
it's
or
not a
uncle.
yeah,
good
but
sign.
I think that's related.
Oh,
That
okay.
sometimes there's an early exit with
Interesting.
yeah, and Warren just gets to be a member at Dallas Athletic Club and golf with Blake.
Warren is a previous president
Ah,
of the Dallas Athletic Club.
What?
Were you really?
I was.
Wow.
Are you upset that I'm mentioning this?
I mean,
Were you voted in or appointed?
we can't dump it. We're going live. Here.
voted.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little politicking? Was there any? That has to get a little bit
It's not
tricky.
It's not as highfalutin as it sounds. It's
I just know
No.
with
it's not
like
a job.
school boards and stuff, there's always
Yeah.
It's got to be everywhere. Even
Yeah.
the
youth
what is it called?
association.
No, the president. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I've been involved in that. The neighborhood association.
Yeah, like the HOA or
Yeah.
the
You get
neighborhood
elected for
association.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And anybody I've ever talked to that's been involved in that thinks it's a huge beating by the time they're done with it.
Yeah. Don't know why anybody would want to do it.
Because
Did you leave the
they're
place
tired
in-
of somebody else telling them
In
what
better
to do.
shape than where you found it.
I think so. It's in great shape.
That's
right
all you
now.
really want to do is
This
build a
place is
program
awesome.
and a culture, according
right.
to Jim Schlossnagel.
I believe he had a rough road because he was involved. Well, you created the pandemic.
I did.
Right? Yeah.
I did.
Oh man,
That's
it was
what you
you.
brought.
It was me.
Like he was in the 20. It's kind of like if you know someone who's a college student in 2020.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh man, that must have sucked." Yeah, it did. No, I bet it was no great thing to be in charge of the Dallas Athletic Club.
During the coronavirus
Yeah.
outbreak? Yeah.
Just trying to navigate those.
Yeah.
Forget about political waters in here, just out there. And
Is it cool
make
if we,
them all
like,
match.
walk around when we're done?
Yes.
No,
Y'all don't need
they're
to
gonna
be so
escort
scared
you
of
out.
it.
Will they
The
know
least-
we're not members?
No.
No.
Because I wore my
I don't know. I got some.
I wore my country club shorts.
You did.
Yeah, you got some color on.
Doesn't this look good?
And you could swim in those, too.
Yeah, you fit in.
Shut up.
Y'all can come swimming with me and my kids after this if you want.
I
We'll
keep
have
a suit
fun.
in the car, so I can hop
Go
out
down
there
the
if
water slides.
I peeked in through the fence like the little kids do, like in Manhattan for Christmas in the Christmas movies, and they peeked there. But it's like I'll never be involved in that. But I looked through the gate at the pool, and I thought, man, that looks special.
It would be great. I think we'd have
With
to marry
kids.
someone or something.
You think?
Get adopted by somebody.
Well, I
to
think
be
it
able
probably
to-
starts with
like Warren.
Y'all are
perhaps.
crazy.
I think it probably starts with not quitting a job that resulted in you making less than half or less than a third of what you were making before.
I know, man. Like I'm following this Aggie baseball story,
Yeah.
and this guy left his job, and it was controversial, and it's in the news and everything, and it's because he's going to make like 3 times as much money.
Yeah.
And I've just ever since we left, I've been following different stories, and that seems to be the pattern. That we didn't like. Why didn't we? We should have done that part of it.
Yeah, we forgot.
The part where you leave and it's controversial and some people hate you, but then you can say, "Well, I have this giant, cushion of money to fall on."
A golden parachute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a parachute.
We didn't. I don't know if we
Barely
got that.
even got that,
You're
dude.
We just
building
jumped.
your parachute, though. You're building it, and that's cooler than just having one handed to you.
Yeah, I guess, but we're building it as we're falling.
Just hoping that it'll catch you before
Can we
you
build
die.
it in time before it hits the ground? And that's tough to do, but it's a lot easier with Blake throwing around business terms on Business Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
That was great work, dude.
You killed it.
Way better work than prepping this show today, I would have to say.
I think this
Just
show is
based on-
going great.
He hit him
Doing
well,
all right.
though. He hit him well, he said.
We're live
And he's clean.
on Twitter.
You
We
know,
are live.
Kalashaw's a member here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, dude, the list of people is Dallas royalty has got to be.
We're going to see him soon.
Shouldn't they just offer us memberships? Just
Uh,
because we're
yeah.
cool?
We got a former
cool bros?
president here.
We're kind of riffraff, though, you know.
I know, but look at all the positive pub we can give them. And we can make them all look better by being here, like us out on the links. Anyway, so on today's program,
I don't know.
we will have Sarah Hepola. We only have a spot for one female, so apparently Julie said she'll leave when Sarah gets here, right?
Yeah.
You have to leave
Only room for one token female.
midway show?
Yeah.
Midway through the show? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave around 1 when she heads in here because I got to pick up my son from golf camp.
Yeah, and we don't want you guys to be in this
Make fun of us.
Boy,
Make
that's
fun
high
of us.
tone.
Jesus.
Make
Golf
fun of us.
camp.
Yeah,
Golf camp.
he's killing it. He's so excited. It's really fun.
Plays ice hockey,
Yeah,
golf camp.
I know.
The two things that were
He's
too
gonna be your boss
expensive for me to
someday.
do as a child. Yeah. And we can't have Sarah and her in here too long together because we don't want them to sync up.
No, that would. There could be a tsunami here. By the time it's
What do you
over.
think that takes, Jake? 15 minutes? 20 minutes?
I think you just pass
And
each
everything
other
is
if you stand too close. The intern's in trouble.
Some sort
It's-
of magnetic field, so we're already synced. Yeah.
Eek. Well, report back.
Yeah, the bears might come get us all. Don't need too many females in one little room.
Golf camp.
Yeah. That's
So yeah,
great.
Sarah will be here. We can talk about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader show. Are you watching it?
Not yet.
You need to.
It just came out,
Yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
my wife will get. I'm not really a binge guy, but my wife will get obsessed with something, and I'll wake up to go to the bathroom at 3:00 in the morning, and I can see the light on her phone, and I'm like, well, I don't think she's texting somebody else, but let me look over and see what's up, and it's just her plowing through
Really?
all 7 episodes of the cheerleader show in like 2 days, and they're an hour long.
I can't. I'm not that guy.
No,
so
I'm
many
not
people
either.
do that.
I've never really been like that.
Yeah,
But-
just I kind of feel like you need a little hang time to think about the show. Maybe that's a show that you don't. But, I mean, would you ever sit there and watch a 10-hour movie? No.
No.
So how do you watch 10 episodes in a row?
Yeah.
But people do. I think Brunig watched it all in one day.
Yeah.
Matt Brunig, who you think of as the most put-together, smart dude in the world, and he's like, yeah, but I love this show.
The kids are at camp. You got a little time. If the kids are at golf camp.
Yeah.
But I guess then you'd have to
At
skip.
equestrian camp.
I think then you'd have to skip tennis.
Yeah, do you
Her
hit him
other
straight?
hobby.
Do you want to hit him straight in tennis?
You know what? I have no
Probably
idea.
don't. Probably wanna put a
Angles
little spin
usually
on it.
tend to work out better if you hit a good angle and they can't return it. Yeah.
Were you playing teams today?
Doubles?
It was USTA doubles. Yeah, and my match was not here. It was at Canyon Creek, so I went from club to club today.
You have road games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Road games.
They have 500 courts here.
Well, these courts were full with all of the DAC ladies that had home matches. You know what I mean?
No.
There's lots of different teams.
Okay.
A lot of ladies playing tennis.
Yeah.
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 Does it
Yeah.
mean that does it make you uniquely positioned to just kill at pickleball? It doesn't translate as much?
It helps a little bit, like, the hand-eye and that kind of thing. But no, it doesn't help because you just want to swing your racket and you're not supposed to because pickleball is all about dinking and just trying to dink it over the net. And I want to take a big swing and all that. But pickleball is pretty fun. I'm trying to play pickleball too.
Really? You're trying to incorporate
I'm trying to do both. Yeah.
This is
Y'all, I mean, I got fired.
We're pushing against it.
I've got time.
But I feel like we're going to end up there.
playing?
I mean, I pushed against softball for many years and then ended up doing it.
I know that you guys accuse me of being a John Kerry level flip-flopper because I once decided to watch Game of Thrones, but I've been saying for 20 years really 30 years I'll never play golf. And I've held strong on that.
You have.
You're putting now.
It's in the backyard.
What does that mean?
But that's a small step.
It is a
You're
start.
putting.
The rent house we have has like
It's a gateway.
It's extremely small,
It's the
like
gateway.
maybe 6x6 little putting thing.
Because if
Okay.
you
on
can
their back
master your
porch.
short game first,
Yeah.
it's easier to develop, being
Then
able
I
to
could
drive
be
the
like
ball.
almost like a hired gun for best ball or scramble.
Yep. Scramble. Yeah, you'd be a good scramble guy.
Yeah, because you could just call me in as a specialist.
Yeah.
Like a left-handed one-out
You're already
guy.
putting for dough.
What
Yeah.
time did you start playing today?
We hit the range about 7:30, and then teed off about 8:10. Got a solid 12 holes of golf in.
12 holes.
They did what they could.
Could have played 18, but for the show,
Oh, you got back here?
decided to give Rob some help.
All
I'm
right.
sure he appreciated that. But no, I'm never going to play golf.
I don't know about that.
It's too late.
What if Cameron Brink asked you to play golf?
I would then take up golf lessons. Immediately.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Immediately. Although it'd be a lot easier for me to start now because for a long time, the only reason I would say that I would never play is because Bob would say eventually you're going to play. And now he wouldn't be able to make fun of me.
Yeah, you gotta stop. Oh, that's right, he's not allowed to.
Yeah, I mean,
At least publicly.
yeah, he's literally banned.
He's allowed to
from
talk to you in life, isn't he?
Yeah,
Well, you would absolutely
But
be
that
made
doesn't
fun
count.
of via text.
yeah, that's not as bad.
But yeah.
Right. Just not on the air.
Yeah.
So before we get to sports, because we have plenty of sports today, don't you worry.
Quite a bit.
Did you give away your Blink tickets?
I did. You know what? I'm going to pull up that guy's message. Because
That sounds great. Are you actually going to read it?
he's a
too?
guy who's like about my age, and he was the first one to hit me up. And I said, hey, you got to answer this DM in like 15 minutes, and I definitely need you to go because I don't want to give this away, and then you decide, oh, I got a kid thing or something like that. And I could tell right away that he was just like over the moon. And he told me that, hey, I've wanted to see him my whole life, never got a chance. Then they stopped touring for a really long time. And he sent me this really sweet message about like, hey, I've been listening to Bob and Dan since they first got together. I would record their shows on the cassettes to listen in the car when you came along. It was so cool watching someone my age work their way up at the station, blah, blah, blah. Seriously, thank you so much. And then he was DMing me during the show, and just him.
Were you like, that's a bit much?
Well, I think he
I
sent
already
it. I
gave
was
you the-
asleep.
Tap the brakes.
Yeah, I mean, but he sent me a cool picture, and yeah, he was just like, this was incredible. Thank you so much. I turned 40 in a couple weeks. I checked something off my list. It's been on there since a few decades ago. Best thing I could have ever hoped for. Y'all are killing it, and you've earned a fan that'll stand by the show no matter what allegations come out. Which was kind of ominous.
Nice of him to say.
But yeah, he
shed
a tear like I did the last time I saw him.
We're probably, both you and I are on most people's bonds list, right?
Yeah, come on.
The Griffey bonds
Could be
list?
anything, yeah.
You know the Griffey bonds list?
Uh-uh.
So basically, it has to do with, when steroid allegations were thrown out.
Yeah.
If I had learned that Ken Griffey Jr. had been roiding up all these years, that would have devastated me. Because he's always seemed like the purest,
right?
Whatever. He's a natural athlete. He doesn't stretch, whatever. And then when you found out Barry Bonds used steroids, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
He's, his head is twice as big as it was when he was a rookie, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's the Griffey Bonds
out,
list.
yeah.
Like if I say a name and you heard that, if I just say a name, you think which list are they on? Tom Grieve.
He would not be on the Bonds list.
He would be on the Griffey list.
He's
you
a
know what's
Griffey.
weird?
Yeah.
That's
Julie
the
is a
exact
Griffey.
name I was just thinking
Really?
of. Yes.
He's
I was
just
about to
a
say-
Y'all are
pure,
so
perfect
synced
guy.
up.
You know,
We're synced up.
we synced that we
Yeah.
sat too close to each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Griffey list and the Bonds list.
Dan and Jake.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Bonds.
Bonds.
Like if you just heard,
No.
it's not about steroids, but
Yeah,
if you
anything.
heard,
No, I'm
Anything
sorry.
where you're like,
if
oh,
you
you shouldn't
heard
have
that
done
I got
that.
busted soliciting a prostitute or something,
Yeah.
you'd be like, all right. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's out of the realm.
Uh-huh.
If
For
you
sure.
heard that Jake got pulled over and they found drugs in his car,
Yeah.
I mean, it's Jake.
Right.
Yeah. Bonds.
Bonds, yeah.
Yeah.
I see
See?
that.
If we heard that Julie got busted in a sex ring,
Oh.
Griffey.
she's a Griffey. There's
Yeah.
no way I would
Thank
think
you.
that. Now
I
we'd be
appreciate
fired
that.
up, but
Yeah.
You book me for the tell-all
Warren?
real quick.
Griffey.
Yeah, Warren's
Look
a
at this
Griffey.
guy.
Griffey, yeah.
He's well put together.
Yeah.
He's got a collar.
the
shirt.
president.
Unless it's like money laundering or embezzlement, I feel like
White collar crime, I think,
he
doesn't.
looks.
You can't figure that in here, right?
Mm-mm.
Because
Right,
sometimes,
no.
because sometimes
You
that's
can
not
still
your
be a
fault.
Griffey.
Like I think
You can
like-
embezzle.
Tom Greaves a Griffey, but he could get caught up in some sort of scheme where he didn't totally understand what his financial advisor was doing. You know what I mean? Rich
Intern
people,
Rachel. Griffey.
Boy, I'm not sure yet.
Okay, I'm going Griffey. BL.
Bonds.
BL Brett Lieber has joined us today as well. Sarah Hepola,
Previously a Bonds, probably now a Griffey.
but because of the previous bonds, she's on the bonds list. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
It
BL's
wouldn't-
right.
if
Maybe
she-
it's a once a Bonds.
Yeah, if she fell off the wagon, we'd be like,
Yeah.
all right. I mean, geez, that happens.
Like I could start going to church and completely clean my life up, and I would still.
You're still on
a
the bonds
Bonds
list.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's a good point.
You're still you at your core.
It's a good point.
Just
Where did we
you
start
going to
with
church.
that? How did we get there?
I don't know.
You're telling something
Because
about-
this guy sent me an email or a DM where he's like, "Hey, I'll
Oh,
support
okay.
the show no matter."
Oh, yeah,
no
yeah,
matter the
yeah.
allegations.
If yeah, all right.
Brandon Keller is his name.
All right. Well, what's
Good
up,
dude.
Brandon? And you didn't accept money for these tickets.
I did not.
Hmm.
It's a gift to a listener.
You're a gift giver.
So
right.
thoughtful.
From the wonderful world of sports, Radio Sports Scoreboard.
Sports Today is brought to you by.
Frankel and Frankel.
You know about them, don't you, Julie?
Sure
You
do.
should do live spots for them.
Where are they based?
Can you do anything off the top of your head? You don't have any.
I didn't do
any-
live spots for them, but other people at my station did.
They're
Oh,
based
okay.
in Dallas is the answer.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the layup.
Yes, Dallas. Duh.
The phone number, Jake, very confusing. Oh, actually, it's not.
No. It's about as-
214 or 817, then 333-333-333.
How
All
did they
threes.
get that?
I don't know.
But what
They're
I do
Frankel
know
and
is that
Frankel.
if they
It's
were able to
simple.
get that, you know that they're doing things right and you can trust them.
Remember, call immediately if you get in a wreck. That's what they are. They're personal injury attorneys. They know that insurance companies will try to take advantage of you. Frankel will fight for your rights. When you give them a call, you'll talk to a partner. So you're not going to just talk to some spare like Blake. You're going to talk to somebody really in charge. It's a family-owned law firm with a client-first mission. So you will get superior service and the outcome that you deserve.
Not just the one you need,
The one you deserve.
but the one that you deserve.
Yeah.
So if this if this happens to you, you got to call 214-817-333-3333. They have over 100 years of combined experience. They know what to do. They're looking out for you.
Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Yeah.
The people's champs.
Frankel and Frankel. So in sports, we have quite a few things. I know the NBA draft happened. I don't think that's our top story or anything.
No.
But it's now day 2 is going to be like today during the day.
Boy, how bad will those ratings be?
I mean, incredibly bad.
Like, I don't know that most people are watching the second round of the NBA draft after the first round when they were in the same night.
I believe the reason is the debate.
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay.
They saw the debate and said, let's just do it in the afternoon.
Then why don't they just do them both on the same night like they always did?
I
do not
have the answer to that.
You know what this is? This is not knowing your role. Because they saw the NFL be able to squeeze every bit of blood out of the turnip and thought, maybe we could try that. Except no one gives an F about some kid from Serbia that's going to be stashed in overseas for 5 years at pick 53 that no one's ever heard of. Most people haven't heard of people outside of the top 10.
Yeah.
Including Stephen A. Smith, who was covering the draft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't hear it, but I saw a bunch of people saying, like, this is awesome. It's like when they make Barkley do college basketball. And you just helicopter in.
That's the problem with when you pay him $18 million or $25 he's now looking for. Or
you got to put him on something.
He's got to be on everything.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying, and he is. But, it's...
He can do no wrong, though. He can say whatever he wants, and people will love him, and he doesn't have to prep or research or anything.
It's true.
How are the ratings like on his daily show? Like, they're not... It's really weird that he does get that much money, but it's not like he's a primetime TV, and it's not... Like, thinking about him and us a little bit, like because there are threats, like if ESPN doesn't pony up $25 million for him, that he could go start his own thing, and he could, but could he make $25 million from that?
Hell no.
Like, I don't know the appetite for Stephen A. Smith. Like,
I mean,
McAfee proved that on the outside, he was
Yeah.
a YouTube star. Like, would Stephen A. Smith garner that if he did his own YouTube thing?
I mean, he would definitely be very successful, but he's not making a $25 million a year. This is an ESPN press room release, so take it for what it's worth. But they do have decent numbers, and they've been up, year to year for the last 4 or 5 years. And now you got to put in your YouTube, which was up 12% from the year before. So, I think it's somewhat you and I have a generational disconnect with, like, this is on in every college dorm room, just like we would watch SportsCenter 7 straight times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Stephen
when
A?
we were in college.
Me? No.
No,
Okay.
but I'm more talking guys who are like 25. And Blake's plays a little over his age.
Yeah, but he's different than us, and I just wanted to check.
No,
that.
I was a big SportsCenter guy, especially late at night. So I loved, Stuart Scott and
Stuart
Ian
A.
Petz,
Scott.
sorry. But no, this daytime TV with Kendrick Perkins and whatever, that's horrible.
I do want to tell you a little bit about one of the guys that was drafted. And this will have the video, Rob. I'm going to play a little audio first. This is Jared McCain from Duke, and he went pick 16 to Philadelphia. And he did a little interview afterward, the little walk-off interview, and he was there with his brother. It was kind of a cool moment. I looked up to see, does his brother play, or does he maybe want to meet John Cena? But I couldn't find if you know what I mean? I couldn't find if he was sick.
You think he's sick?
I didn't know why he was there, but it was kind of a cool moment.
Yeah.
And then they dropped this, which I was unaware of.
It means everything to me, man. He worked so damn hard for this. And I'm just blessed to be a part of this journey, and it's such a big part of my purpose as a person, so it's everything to me.
Now, much has been made of your 2 million plus TikTok following, right? But now you're starting your NBA career.
Okay, so that's now
What?
something that they talk to draft prospects about when they walk off. Not just, hey, your family, your mom, it was so hard. He's got 2.8 million followers on TikTok. And it's very TikTok. We have a video. This is the first thing he shot after the draft. So you can kind of get a flavor for what he does, but he basically just dances. And everybody was making fun of him last night. Like, Joel Embiid's going to be yelling, all right, let's lock in, guys. And he's over here hitting the whip and the nay-nay. Can we play it? Is that possible?
This is after he was drafted.
Right after, in front of the draft backdrop. He's just prancing.
This is a first, right?
I would have to say so.
The first TikTok draft pick?
Yeah. I mean, all the guys have accounts, you know, whether they post on TikTok or not.
What is he doing?
Maybe post a picture on Instagram, but that's what this guy does.
Is the GM instantly like calling around for trades right now?
Yeah, little, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like a celebratory dance? Okay.
Boy, you think Jimmy Butler's not going to bring that up?
Oh my gosh.
When he's
wow.
defending him in the post?
Okay, so this is the thing with these TikTok people that dance and get really famous for it. Like, they're not good at dancing. Right?
Yeah, I have heard dance people say that before. But it doesn't matter anymore because it's the same thing as when we were talking to Mike Pesca about Twitch. And you'll see some kid who's got 8 million followers doing basically a talk show. And they're not good. they're not good at communicating. They're not good at having a conversation.
Weird.
But 8 million people watch them, and they make way more than I'll make ever.
You know who baffles me the most? Do you know the Montana Boys?
I don't know anything about TikTok unless it ends up on Twitter or the guy sells cars.
It's the guy that is now dating Kristen Cavallari. He's like a million times younger than her. He's like, I don't know, 10 years younger than her.
Jay Cutler's ex.
Yeah.
The show.
So she saw him on TikTok. He was one of the Montana Boys. It's like these 3 guys, and they're from Montana.
I might have seen this. They're like cowboys who dance.
Yes, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
Like, they don't sing. They stand in a line. No. One of them does this to the camera, and then they go to the back of the line, and then the next one does this to the camera.
How do you think they spell boys?
Yeah, I was just about to
say.
You
know.
Gotta have a Z, right?
Oh,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Heck
yes.
Yeah.
They're all ripped.
Oh, gosh. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
But I can see it. Like, it's kind of addicting when you start watching their videos, and then you're like, why am I staring at this?
They make more than we do right now, and they just started.
And now he's really dating Kristen Cavallari, and he's probably loaded. Yeah.
But we know business stuff.
Oh, you guys have to explore the Montana Boys and report back to me.
No, thank you.
Well, the good thing about that, Blake, is that it wouldn't be you guys.
Yeah, it'd be me.
When you're done golfing.
Oh, yeah, here's a dance you can watch.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
We were just watching that one.
Enjoying a little Twisted Tea there, Montana Boys?
Which Twisted Tea 100% paying them.
Yes,
to drink them on camera. Yep. Yeah. So anyways, that's the NBA now.
We would drink something.
And every 20-year-old guy has this haircut.
Yeah.
It's like really short on the sides. It's almost like a curly mullet.
Yep.
And I think Jake is right. They get perms.
Yeah. It's true.
Oh my God.
Not everybody has hair naturally that curly.
So now we're longing for the days of tattoos and cornrows.
Maybe
right?
a gun. Maybe a gun.
Yeah, just like
I don't know. Maybe you've got 2-3 kids by 2-3 different women. And those are the knocks on you.
What people older than us were complaining about the tattoos back in the day. If they only saw this.
Yeah. They'd be like, bring back the gun.
Yeah.
He's got an earring.
Mm-hmm. I can see his underwear.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the big. That was the big.
Yeah.
That was my grandma. Yeah. He needs to pull his pants up.
Yep.
Oh, man. So that's our NBA draft coverage, I guess.
Okay, and later today.
Y'all destroyed.
Who takes, if anyone, takes. This is day 2 is a bigger day of the draft. So actually, they might get okay ratings.
Because people
Bronny.
will definitely at least keep track of whatever's happening at the end, you know? For sure.
Yeah, Bronny. When does it start? Will we find out during the live stream? Oh, there's no way to know.
Oh.
I mean, look, the Lakers are at 55, the Mavericks are at 58. And Rich Paul's already planted the seed of like, hey, if the Lakers don't take him, the Mavs will. I mean, there are a few things. You already got Zeke back.
I don't know that the Mavs take him because if the Mavs are being run by Mark Cuban, the Mavs take him.
Man, I heard somebody say that the other day, and you're probably right, but I didn't know that Nico Harrison had that close of a relationship with LeBron and the family. Like Rich Paul's not just saying, "Oh, he's basically like Bronny's uncle,"
yeah.
if it's not true. So,
Yeah, Rich Paul wouldn't say anything that wasn't true.
well, but you're not
benefit
publicly
his-
going to put Nico's name out there like that, I don't think. But who knows? If his name was not Bronny, he would not be getting drafted.
Do you want to move on to this week in Aggie baseball?
I'm obsessed.
I know, isn't it hilarious?
It's all awesome. So Jim Schlossnagel, who used to be the coach at TCU.
Good dude.
Worst last name ever.
I figured you'd probably say that, Blake.
Yeah, just
I thought you'd say he sucks because didn't he screw over TCU?
I mean,
he
he
left
was there.
he left the program in good hands, and he went to a top-notch program. But I mean, of all the coaches I've interacted with, especially at coaches shows, like he's legit a good
okay.
dude.
Nice.
And he was there for like 18 years, which I didn't realize. I listened to his whole press conference today, and at one point he said, I'm 50 years old. And I'm like, oh, I thought he was a little bit older than that. And then he said, my 18 years at TCU. I'm like, did he get hired at like 32,
Yeah, I guess so.
33? That seems really weird to me for baseball. Baseball seems like the sport where they hire old coaches more.
Guys that look like him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously he left A&M and was hired by Texas pretty much immediately after the last pitch of the College World Series, which Texas A&M lost. And he's a baseball coach, so he's all red-assed. And there were already rumors out there after Texas had moved on from their coach that this is the job that he was going to take. He was going to go to Austin. So this is the first clip that went viral was him talking right after they lost.
With the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggieland?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again. And that.
By the way, I don't know what he means by that. Why couldn't they just move? Did
he divorce his wife?
There's no way, right?
I don't think so, unless he just didn't want to uproot his kids from Fort Worth.
I left my family.
It's not that.
That's probably what it is. He just didn't want them to move.
Maybe.
Still,
because they had been going to school there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there
not
for a long
that big
time.
of a
so yeah.
move, though. Like,
Well, I
you
mean,
hear about.
Fort Worth to College Station.
Yeah.
Right, but you hear about like hockey players or whatever that don't want to move their family from Minnesota to California or whatever. But like within Texas, like,
yeah, but if
they
you had
probably
been
would've
in
figured
the
it out.
school
you can
system,
know your kids.
Yeah, I
would you
get
move
okay.
now to
That makes more
Grapevine?
sense.
Or when they're in 12th or
Yeah, I guess
11th
it
grade
depends
or whatever.
the age
Yeah,
and stuff.
At the same time, though,
but it made it sound
just-
like he got divorced.
I know,
and just
like-
will never talk to his kids
Yeah.
again because he thought the Aggie job was so great.
yeah.
I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again. And that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But
Okay, well, first of all, that's one of their players. That would actually be an entirely normal question for a guy who's like, yeah, you're going to ask, hey, you going to come back or are you going to go to the draft?
And this is also an entirely normal question, especially considering what just happened.
Yeah.
Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question. But I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. Write that.
Yeah.
Oh, write that down, Blake. That was his write that
Very,
down.
very
Blake.
Kim Mulkey. It just nobody has, and that's a guy from
All
Texas.
these college coaches
Yeah.
they're the same way.
Yeah.
They are in control of everything. That's why they hate an NIL. Because actually the players have a little bit of control now, and you can't be a total a-hole.
Yeah, and it's weird with Kim Mulkey. At least she was taking aim at the left-wing mainstream or whatever Washington Post coming in and thinking they know what's up. This is a guy from Texags who's probably just written puff piece after puff piece about Schlossnagel the whole time he's been there, and he's like,
Right.
that.
You can just tell he's getting really defensive because he knows what's
he
happening.
knows it's already happening.
He's like, oh, crap,
Right.
I wasn't prepared to
Which,
answer this
In
question.
fact, they were like, I've seen rumors about like a burner phones
Yep.
that he was recruiting
Ugh.
players.
One of his former players, and this is a wild thing to tweet if you don't really have any proof, but former Aggies outfielder J.B. Moss said, more will come out, but recruiting kids to Texas from burner phones while playing in the national championship is all-time greasy.
Oh, man.
But guess what?
He's right.
I would believe it.
Yeah.
So we'll get to his apology to that reporter at the end, but I had a couple of other clips in here I wanted to play for you, including a Dan favorite.
Yeah, good morning. What an awesome day. Super thankful and humbled by.
Oh, okay. Is this his Texas press conference?
Yeah,
then?
so now we're going to go to his Texas intro press conference where he does end up apologizing, but that's a long clip. So,
but he's humbled by
yeah.
$8 million a year or whatever he's
He
going
does
to
it
get.
a couple times.
Super thankful and humbled by this opportunity to be the baseball coach at the University of Texas. I want to thank Texas A&M. This wasn't obviously a move from one school to another school. This is a great rivalry, and couldn't be more thankful.
And what else?
And humbled by the support that I got there, that we got there.
Yeah. He was humbled by the support. So you were humbled that they doubled your pay from what you were making in Fort Worth?
Yeah.
That's the support you got.
But that's the opposite of humbled. Like,
yeah.
If somebody tripled my pay or whatever, I'm feeling like I'm kind of a badass if I'm this wanted.
Yeah.
Like, leave your job and make half of what you made before?
Pretty humbling.
That's possibly humbling.
This is a favorite from this is an old bad radio bit. You know who their athletic director is, obviously.
Thank you to President Hartzell, Chairman Eltife.
And?
Of course, my man, CDC.
CDC. That's McConaughey's man, too.
Bless the mood with CDC. And a guy who once upon a time, I think I was the board op. I think I'd moved up from the top 10, but Bad Radio was doing a show in Fort Worth. We're trying to get guests, and they made Chris Del Conte, who was the program or the athletic director there at the time, available. And Gribble sold it to Bob and Dan with, he's really funny.
He's really funny. You guys are going to love him.
So, first of all, there's no chance. The athletic director is really funny. So we then took that to cutting up every answer he gave and putting laugh tracks behind it, like the Seinfeld theme. Yeah. Gribble's just sitting over there so beaten. Like,
and the answers were, yes,
they're generic.
We look forward to
We're
playing.
committed to culture.
He was not that personality
We'll
filled.
make him funny.
But
no,
he also, and God, he sucks because he also was stolen away by Texas.
Yeah.
Right? And had his set. Like, Texas, all they're doing is money whipping everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Beard.
If you can, then great. But don't act like, you're anything. I don't know, man. It's just all but the culture here and the tradition.
The city of Austin.
It has nothing to do with any of that.
No.
You got money whipped.
Players or coaches, really.
Yeah, for sure. The players, for sure. Now.
I didn't cut this part off. But
Did you see?
He did say, like, there's the three most important things when recruiting. Number one, what's the quality of my diploma? And I'm like, well, that's horseshit. Number two, like player development, I guess.
All right.
And number three, I think might have been the city, or winning in Omaha was number three. Like
Okay.
he made winning
player
the
development
last thing.
is probably one of the money, player development because you want to develop to get more money
And you want to
in
win.
the pros. But do you see CDC though? The other reason he sucks is because now he's like scoreboarding the rest of the world. Did you see he put out a Twitter post of a cemetery? Do you know the story?
No, I guess not.
That apparently he knew he couldn't be seen in College Station on Tuesday. So he hung out at a cemetery, Snook Cemetery, for like 3 hours as Schloss was traveling back from the College World Series. Once they got back, he was there, and he drove to his house to meet him.
Yeah, that's one really creepy, and
but
two,
he
now he's
tweeted
trolling
out
it.
he
Yeah.
tweeted out that picture with the horns up that Apple has somehow deemed it's worthy.
Yeah, I think they did something similar.
Horns up,
I think he
sorry.
did something
Not horns
similar
up.
when they hired Chris Beard, because they met halfway between Lubbock and Austin at a McDonald's, and people I think put together maybe they were seen there or something, but it was in the middle of nowhere in Texas.
Okay, so
And-
that's why he had to
and
pick a cemetery?
after they hired Chris Beard, he I believe tweeted out a picture of the receipt from their meal at McDonald's. Like 2 sandwiches and 2 coffees. Just like, yeah. That's just lame.
I definitely won't punch my wife.
You forgot that part. Forgot to clear that part up.
Blake spin.
This is an interesting one.
She broke his glasses, Dan.
Oh, so you're just saying there was a reason.
This is an interesting one.
That's the reason he gave.
In light of what we dealt with.
Glasses are
with Blake
expensive
today.
these
They
days.
really are. They really are.
Thanks.
Might have to go get
thanks,
another
Biden.
eye exam.
Biden did this.
So yes, like I said, this last clip before the real walk-off is great considering what we dealt with Blake today.
Lastly, to the Longhorn fans, we need you. Please know that this is not a job for me. This is a lifestyle.
Okay.
I don't play golf. I don't hunt or.
Yeah, so he's like, look, I got nothing but work on my mind. I don't golf.
Yeah. Here's Blake.
Yeah.
Plays
Getting in
golf.
a quick 12.
Plays golf before
Sounds
the
like
show
a real
once.
Boring dude.
Yeah, I mean, it is before the show once, but it's also like the most technically difficult thing we've ever tried to pull off, so I don't.
And look at us. We're just sailing.
But at least
we are.
At least you got right off the course and just showed up here all sweaty, like just ready to.
He smells great, actually, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually took
I
yourself
did
a nice.
that. I did that for y'all.
Get a little steam. Maybe a little massage.
Me and Kelly hung out. Yeah, in the sauna.
A little steam. All right, this is really long, and we don't have to play the whole thing. But obviously, after he snapped at Texag's guy the other day, he immediately knew how bad that was going to print. And especially that he's already going to be public a-hole number 1.
Don't you think it's weird that he says that while like he knew? It's not like they just offered him the job.
Well, that's
after.
why he did it. Because he knows deep down, like, I'm doing something that people are going to be really mad at me about, so I'm going to overreact. You know, people do that all the time, I think. So just doth protest too much type thing, you know?
Yeah, and I guess in the end it doesn't matter. The check still cashes.
Yeah, but I also think he knew that it looked really bad for him, and probably a conversation with CDC happened where they thought, you know, we're going to have to address this. We're going to get asked about it.
Mm-hmm.
So here that is.
Yeah, Coach, last night, Olin Buchanan, TexAgs.com.
Welcome.
Thank you. Coach, on Monday night, you said that you went to Texas A&M with the idea of it being a last job, and then you said that your mind hadn't changed beyond that. So, number one, what changed? And then number two, what would you say to those Texas A&M people that supported you that feels like that you intentionally misled them?
So first of all, that's a much more pointed question than the one that he snapped at already. The other one was just, what do you have to say about this? This one is like, what do you have to say to all the people that you screwed over?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't intentionally mislead them.
Bullshit.
And that's a very fair question for you to ask because that is what I said. In that moment, that's exactly how I felt.
No.
At 50 years old, you got to understand, and Chris would probably back me up on this, I love TCU. My children grew up there.
What happened?
Fort Worth. I was there 18 years.
Somebody pay you more?
And it had to be a very unique situation for me to leave that at 50 years old. I love Coach Garrido, but I hope I get to coach here for a long time. But I don't really have any plans on coaching to 75, 78
Last
years
week you
old.
said you had no plans of ever leaving Texas A&M. So
I made that choice because it aligned both personally and professionally with what I had going on at the time. And I loved it. And I dove in with every single ounce of me to help A&M have the very best baseball program it can possibly have. And that investment lasted through the last pitch of the national championship game.
What about the burners?
It never wavered, not 1 second. I don't care what anybody says.
So you can tell where he's, aligned is a bingo for these type of things. You got to use aligned. Their culture aligned with my core values. I heard core values about 10 times. One of his core values is to, when he leaves, he takes his entire coaching staff with him because he had 3 guys in College Station that now are in Austin.
And
Chris Beard did almost the same thing.
A ton of their players are in the portal now too, right?
Yeah.
Including like some of them that were tweeting out, I'd never leave here, and
I'll die for this team.
All these other kids that are in taking advantage of the portal is ridiculous. Like, and that's because they were kind of following their coach's lead, I think.
Yeah,
like, oh, he's wagging his finger in the face of the media. Well, we should do that too.
It's all bullshit.
I would just
Every
like
single
one
ounce
person.
of it.
One person to
Right.
ever actually take less somewhere. Like, for all we hate Alex Rodriguez, he actually was going to take less money to get traded away from the Rangers back in the day.
He hated it
Now,
that much.
He had
Yeah.
$250 million. He was going to take $210 or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever, my great-grandchildren won't go to college off of this, but, everyone else will.
Or, that could possibly happen. The second scenario on the flip side, it never would. It would also be really funny if it would definitely never happen in college. But if a coach walked out there and was like, look, I had a chance to make generational money by leaving the job that I said I'd never leave.
Right. And
I
that's
like it here, but I'm here because they're paying me more.
Someone say that.
Yeah, that would be fun
Just
too.
say it, because that's the truth.
Yeah.
And then it would be fine. But it's hard to say that. Then tell kids,
it's a culture.
You can't just go anywhere for NIL.
Yeah.
You got to go here for this. Just like one press conference to say, like Josh Hamilton and his wife, the Angels did offer $20 million less than Seattle, but this really felt like home.
Yeah.
But then they lied.
Yeah.
They had to say, well, God brought us to Anaheim.
They had to throw God under the bus.
She doesn't.
And that investment
No, she doesn't.
lasted through the last pitch of the national championship game. It never wavered, not 1 second. I don't care what anybody says. As Chris likes to say, we have jobs and try to run a business on other people's passion.
All right, I don't know. I don't want to hear it. He goes on for another minute and a half.
Wait, Chris says that?
I don't know who Chris says.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I was going to say, without it being called CDC, I was a bit thrown off and confused.
Yeah.
So that's that story. It's great. It's a great story. I love it.
It is great.
And especially,
and you love it because the Aggies got screwed.
Of course. They're going to be in the same conference now is even better.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic college sports story.
Indeed. Well, I think, I know it's 12:59 if you're watching on our live stream today. If you're listening later, then I don't know what time it is.
It doesn't really mean anything to you. Yeah.
But I'm only mentioning that because Julie said she has to go get her son from swimming at
No. Swimming. Anybody can go swimming.
Oh,
others have to enjoy the luxuries of golf camp.
Golf camp.
It is golf camp, and it is ending, and then they go for swim time. So you're both right.
Okay, so you're going swimming.
Yeah, I'm going to go meet him for swim time at the end of golf camp. So we'll be frolicking around the pool if y'all want to join when you're done.
Coached by Michael Phelps.
I love that y'all think
they got a
this
swim-up
club
bar?
is like something totally insane and exclusive,
Swim-up
and you
bar?
have to be bajillionaires to join
She's
here.
dodging the question.
Swim-up bar? No, there's no swim-up bar, but there's wonderful waiters and waitresses that will bring you drinks.
Cabana boys.
Okay.
I'm going to go get a ranch water right now.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Y'all have fun.
All right.
Thanks for
Good
having
seeing
me.
you.
Good to see you guys.
We're handing things, we're going from Julie right to Sarah Hepola.
Yeah.
Is that true, Sarah? Are you going to be on with us in the next part of the program?
No.
Okay. So that's what's coming up.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Died on this day in 2010, Gary Coleman, whose catchphrase was,
What are you talking about, Willis?
What are you talking about, Willis?
I thought the whatcha maybe would have made it a little something else, so I just went really white with it.
Excuse me, Willis. Might I inquire?
Pardon me, William.
Joining us now on the live stream, Sarah Hepola. We all know her from
What do you know me from?
Her New York Times best-selling book, where it opens with some guy
Every single time.
Yeah.
laying on top of her when she woke up from her blackout.
By the way,
Blackout.
can I tell you I was on top?
I was going to say, he said that yesterday because I was like, we need a montage of every time you've said this. And he got at that, but I didn't want to be a creep and be like, pretty sure she was on top.
Okay.
I mean, I've read that part of the book, and I'm like, all right.
Okay, so
really
you were
stuck
blacked
with you.
out there it is. Look, we have the book.
Oh, look, that's my book. That's my book.
Are you currently reading it, Rob? Is that why? Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did I lie about that beginning part? That sucks you in.
It's
I mean,
a barn
that's,
burner.
As it were.
That's
Barn burner.
that shows you're a great writer because you want to capture someone to say, I got to read the rest of this book.
That's right. How'd she get here? And how'd she get out of it?
How many books have you read where it's like, when am I going to get to something?
Yeah.
When are we going to, like, that's the exact opposite of Sarah's book.
We
And it's
take off
fascinating.
like a rocket ship. I'm on top of a guy, and I don't know where I met him, but we're having sex.
And I also told you that your book makes me feel better.
Yeah.
About
your problem drinking.
Yeah, like I thought I might be on the edge, but nowhere near what this person
You've
went
never
through,
woken up on top of a man?
No.
Yeah. As long as you
Yeah.
haven't hit that bottom, I think you're okay.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. I know you from that. I know you from the Dallas Morning News.
Yeah.
I know you from your world-famous podcast as well, which I don't know the name of it, but it's not the current podcast, but the Dallas Cowboy podcast that you're on, that you put together. Dallas Cowboy Cheerleader.
The world-famous podcast. That one's called America's Girls.
Okay.
For Texas Monthly. And then I do a podcast with one Nancy Rommelman called Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em.
And I also know you from the current... Is it a Netflix series, Jake, or is it HBO?
Netflix.
The current documentary on the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, at least episode 1.
Yeah.
You are in there talking about stuff, Charlotte and not paying cheerleaders and stuff like that.
I'm talking about stuff. That is, by the way, guys, when I checked this morning, that was the #1 television show on Netflix.
Yeah, same here. I don't know if it's just the algorithm or what, but it's killing it.
Yeah.
So my first question was, do they get the idea to do this because of your podcast? And are you paid any sort of consulting fee?
Okay, so these are two separate questions. I mean, one is, they've been doing a reality show called Making the Team
Yeah.
for 16 years.
Yeah.
And it was on CMT, and it was like well known to the very small audience that watched CMT. I don't know the last time you guys chilled out with some CMT.
Yeah, I'm sure back on the old show, Bob and Dan would play some audio from it, but we were not locked in on it.
Right.
But then it shut down in 2022 right after. Do you remember the scandal where Rich Dalrymple?
Do I remember?
Is how we
my
met.
whole bit.
It's been your whole career, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to check my notes because I feel like I was thinking this during watching this current documentary. I've only watched the first 3 episodes.
Same.
Okay, I do have a note that I wrote. After watching them in the uniform fitting, I don't support what Rich Dalrymple did, but I understand it.
Okay, I disavow this podcast. Took this long. I mean, that's a story for another time. When I'm not on the podcast, please.
Yeah.
But after that, a month after that broke, because Don Van Natta wrote about it, and it had happened in 2015, but they'd kept it quiet. And then Don Van Natta wrote about it, and then Dalrymple had just been like, "Okay, bye guys," and everybody was quiet. Anyway, after that, the Cowboys shut down Making the Team.
Probably a wise decision at the time.
At the time, I'm thinking, okay, reality has gotten too real. You just don't want cameras around, which who does?
Yeah.
And I just figured they were gonna fold it. But what I didn't realize was that Charlotte Jones had gone to Greg Whiteley, who is the creator of Cheer, which I have been on your podcast talking about before because I wrote a cover story for Texas Monthly about Monica Aldama, the coach from Corsicana's Navarro Junior College.
Quick sidebar, if you're going to bring up Rich and Charlotte, you have to include the second leg of that story where he was taking pictures up her skirt in the draft room.
Oh my God, I forgot about it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it was allegedly, I guess.
Allegedly.
It's all alleged, right?
Well, Don wrote it, but...
Well, look.
The cheerleader stuff alleged,
The
too.
cheerleader stuff, they settled on it. The 4 cheerleaders that were in the dressing room got $2.4 million split between the 4 of them.
Okay, and they all complain they don't make a lot of money.
Okay, that is inappropriate.
Oh.
It's Dan.
No, I wouldn't expect anything different. But
I'm on the Bonds list.
So they had already been in this reality TV show game, and I suspect Charlotte Jones saw Cheer and what it was doing. You know how it became like a smash, and she was like, "I want them to do that for us." So I think looking back now, they took that moment as a kind of like, you know what? Let's sever this deal, this 16-year deal with CMT, and let's create a partnership with this guy, Greg Whiteley, who does these really high, like the gloss.
It looks a lot better than the CMT
looks so
show.
much better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more intimate in the sense of like you get to know the women a little bit more. It's a little bit classier.
And I'll bet Netflix money is a little bit greener. And
I would
thicker,
imagine, although I
you know?
wonder, the thing about working with the Cowboys, they're
cheap.
famously cheap. So it's like they're giving him access. The difficult
I'm saying
thing.
Netflix is paying them though.
I don't know. I feel like
Got to be
Netflix
paying way more than CMT could do.
Oh, yes. Okay. To be clear,
That's
yes.
what I meant.
More than CMT. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And my only thing was, I just kind of wonder what the deal is because are the Cowboys profiting or is Greg profiting? I don't know the answers to these things. But I do know that if you're going to get in bed with the Cowboys in work, then you're not going to get a lot of money from them. They just don't. They don't give it up. Yeah, they're.
Well, I mean, I guess they can force your hand because you're just using the Cowboy brand, which is worth so much in its own right that you don't really have the ability to negotiate unless you're Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Somehow you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But, when you want to do a project on the cheerleaders, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people haven't done it is because they make it really difficult with trademarking and they're famously litigious.
Yep.
And
that's why they take the uniform back. I was thinking about that. We were
Oh yeah, 100%.
bemoaning that of like, hey, they fit it for you. It's a big part of your life. You can't take the iconic uniform. It's because they don't want you showing up at wherever.
So by the way, Jake,
I was gonna say like
no, Jake,
doesn't like
I was gonna
Hooters
say
do
like
that too? You can't search and find porn with a Hooters girl. I've heard.
So those are knockoffs I've seen.
Wow.
Anyways,
so back in the 70s,
you can print anything on Etsy.
Orange
So
shorts.
back in the 70s,
That's a
there were actual incidents. I mean, the most famous one being Debbie Does Dallas. The porn Debbie Does Dallas involves a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader costume, and
my hands are clean on that one.
They used it.
Probably.
They
wonder what Antonio
Just
Brown
too-
would say about that.
Too much. They used the marketing for that movie was that they pretended like she was an ex-Cowboys cheerleader, but she was probably just using the uniform of another former cheerleader. Bambi Woods is her name. R.I.P. And
Indeed.
yeah. And the other thing that happened was that there was a couple incidences where cheerleaders would show up at strip clubs in the uniform and make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And one of them got written up in the Dallas Morning News, and then I think they took legal action. But the most famous one was in Playboy when the former cheerleaders went topless.
With the uniform.
Well, they did an imitation of the uniform.
Okay.
But all of this made it so that they really, they signed you in, they signed you out, you couldn't hold on to it. They were not going to take any chances.
Interesting.
There's another Playboy spread. I remember, let me see if I can remember the tagline that Playboy used. It was a girl that had tried out, and she kept the audition outfit. And then they had her as in the centerfold, and it said, "The Cowboys' Miss is our Miss January."
I like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
You know what's funny, Dan, is that's the second story we've heard about people who work in like the promotional and marketing arm of the Cowboys losing their job because they took the Cowboys stuff to a strip club. R.I.P. Rowdy.
No way.
Well, he parked the van. There's a Rowdy van, and he was like, Jerry referenced this in a jocular comedic vein recently. They fired their old Rowdy because he took the Rowdy van, and it was photographed outside of a place of ill repute.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
He
Jerry's
is Rowdy.
Jerry's up
They
there
call
laughing
him
about it.
Rowdy. Why
That's
did
true.
why did they name him that?
That's true.
So yeah, I'm in that, and it's the #1 Netflix show on the TV streamer.
But we've heard from people that have appeared in documentaries, our banker for one, that you don't really make much from that, if anything.
Oh no, you're not
Okay.
supposed to be paid for
An interview?
An interview. That's journalistically unethical as a general rule. But I was a story consultant on this show.
The workaround.
So I helped them track down vintage clips. So, there's a lot of...
oh, nice.
Yeah. So when you see all those montages...
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been involved with it then? Like, when did they start this whole thing?
I think they started it a year ago, and I got involved about 6 months ago.
I was surprised that you weren't one of the judges for the initial tryouts because they had like a traffic guy from a...
Okay. We got to talk about that.
Okay.
The traffic guy.
Because when we talked the other day, hold on, it's not the traffic
guy.
guy. It's not the traffic guy.
The weather guy?
It's Scott Padgett, the CBS 11 weather guy. Okay.
Oh.
And when we talked the other day, that's in like the last 5 minutes of episode 1. I had not seen that part.
Okay.
And I have been just stewing on this since I saw it. I texted her and I was like, I just want to make sure you're not friends with this Scott fucking Padgett character, who probably is a member here, so I'm sorry to warn. But why, in God's name, did they have the guy who stands in front of the screen and tells you when it's going to rain, sitting there being like, I didn't like her kicks. I thought she was good in the routine, but not great on the field. What do you know? Listen,
I don't get it.
If somebody's going to tell me that
That's
Scott,
what I thought if anybody should be, Sarah should be a judge.
if somebody's going to tell me that Scott Padgett actually was a college cheerleader,
a yell leader,
or anything, then fine. I will walk all this back. But this is the first time you hear him, and I threw my remote. Sorry, Blake.
Number 36, Charlie.
So now they're putting images up there. It looks like a draft war room. It's a bunch of people sitting around a table. They're talking about prospects. The difference being all the people in a draft war room know about football.
Yeah.
Here they have Scott Padgett.
Except for, yodeling kid.
That's true.
And Jerry.
Point made.
In the field, I'm like, wow, looks amazing.
That's
and then
him.
she started kicking.
Well, I don't think we should lower our bar for anybody, but
Yeah, but
Lower.
so does the question become...
Okay, now you want to know who the second guy is here? Whenever they put up his little tag of what he does, it's his name, and it says Lucchese Boots Representative.
Right.
So it's just somebody they have
Sponsor.
a marketing
what I
sponsorship
think?
agreement. He's like an
Now,
80-year-old
one guy
dude.
was like a choreographer, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
for sure. Yeah.
I think these are sponsorship partners, and as part of the deal, they work in that somebody at the place gets to be a judge.
Yeah, and they have a deal with CBS 11, obviously. But if I'm Scott Padgett, I just say no. Like, what am I doing here?
Would you really?
I don't know. You
Would
might
you
say
really?
yeah.
I can tell you what
Although
I
I
wouldn't
felt-
do. I wouldn't walk into it, despite the fact that we talk about a lot of stuff we know nothing about. I would not feel comfortable judging these people who are professionals at what they do in the company of other professionals and being like, didn't like her kicks.
Yeah. I would probably just
Sit there.
adhere to what those around me were voting. you know?
Yeah.
But we need to take notes, though, because as we open up sponsorships, maybe if you don't like our social media or whatever, maybe you want to sit in on planning on the show.
That's the truth.
It's not a bad idea.
But that's why I was saying during that, I thought the voting should be private or a silent ballot or whatever you call it.
Yeah, because you're influenced by when the head lady holds her hand up.
Yeah, if
everyone's
she
like,
holds her hand
"Oh,
up,
okay."
I'm going to vote. I'm going to
Yeah.
vote her way because I don't know anything.
Yeah, that happens in sports all the time, right?
Yes, scouts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's what I think about him, and they all yes, harumph, harumph.
Mhm.
We all agree with that.
Here's my last Scott Padgett clip. It's quick.
49, Victoria.
She wasn't dancing like a veteran. So I was expecting that level of energy, and it was just, I'm here, I'm kind of doing what I need to do.
Dancing like a veteran.
I should make the squad. So she was just being outdanced to me.
She was being outdanced
And
to
if
me.
I'm Victoria,
When is it raining?
yeah,
Where's the heat dome?
Throw up the 7 days, Scott.
Come on. Is there a warning or a watch?
Can I
These are the things I need to hear from you,
ask
Scott Padgett.
a question, which is that have we confirmed Scott Padgett has no dance background?
Well, see, that's what I was saying. If
that's
people
what
are
he
going to
said.
tell
He'll
me
back off, and
if he was a college cheerleader or if he has serious dance chops that I don't know about, we'll delete all this.
But also,
did he TikTok?
I don't
You know who
think...
I bet also doesn't is the 80-year-old guy who's a representative of Lucchese Boots.
Okay, he
My
has no
guess-
dance background.
yeah.
But can I say that in a way, it makes sense for you to have normal Joes.
Oh, that's...
Oh, well, there's Scott Padgett
Padgett.
flossing, sort of, at the state fair.
Scott, you're not dancing like a veteran either, bud.
No, you look like you're just out there.
Now
You're
maybe
not committed to the moves.
Maybe both he and the
What a great
boot
find,
guy
Rob.
have many years of ogling cheerleaders in their background.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying that you don't just want somebody there for technical ability. You
Right.
want male eyes because they're going to be the primary audience in the stadium at the very least.
Yeah.
And so you want that perspective.
I understand that, and that's fair. In that case, what I want to hear from Scott Padgett is something like, 39, great ass.
Okay, can I just tell you? Can I just tell you that?
Great ass. Yeah, go
back
full
in the
Pacino. Like if that's what he's there for, then I don't want to hear him talking about
Okay.
leg kicks.
In defense of Scott Padgett and the corner that he was in with this
Who knew
show,
you'd have to defend him today?
The name of today's show.
I will die on this hill, and it'll be the end of me. Back in the day on Making the Team, the guys used to do that.
Oh,
and,
I can
and
bet.
it was they would get like that show. It's so many. So one of the interesting things about this show is watching how the Cowboys and the women behind the cheerleaders have changed how they talk because of having been recorded and having seen the critiques of it. That
And
they
Me
body
Too,
shame
for sure.
and the Me Too critiques. So you'll never hear them say somebody needs to lose weight. They'll say that they're not fueling themselves, or they need to fuel more, or they need to think about nutrition, or that they're missing stamina.
Right.
So it's all these coded words.
They were doing that on Victoria early.
Yes.
And I have not seen the rest of the series. I've seen 1 through 3, and I was telling these guys the other day. They're teasing that she had an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Did she? It feels like that's what we're teasing because they keep saying, "Well, she didn't fuel up right." And she
Yeah,
wasn't,
and then there's the one moment where the choreographer Judy Trammell says something like, "That was before she went on her health journey." You know, it was like, "What's the health journey? Was it an unhealth journey?"
Is that where we got the lose some weight baby girl drop from?
No, that's the lady that got towed.
That was ESPN.
Oh, okay,
girl,
yeah.
Britt McHenry?
Yeah. There you go.
So I don't know that particular specific.
Blow me up, dog.
I don't know that specific.
They grow up so fast.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm proud of them.
I'll go get that guy, and
yeah,
he'll come
you're
in
good.
here. I don't know that they ever tackle that specific issue, Dan. But what they do is show you pictures that kind of speak to that, to what is likely the story there. Because her weight fluctuates dramatically, and if you followed the cheerleaders, like on Making the Team or whatever, you know that like 1 year she got kicked off for being too heavy, and the next year she got kicked off for being too thin. I don't know about kicked off.
It's a crazy world,
but like
didn't
but,
make
you know,
it. Yeah.
we're like
they were
like
talking about that.
reprimanded.
It's very difficult to land in that sweet spot and then stay there.
Yeah, it seems
'Cause
miserable.
They measure, and those uniforms fit absolutely perfectly to your body that day.
Yeah.
And so if you gain a little weight, you lose
It's
a little
crazy.
weight.
Well, and I don't
put on muscle.
Everybody looks larger on TV. I don't just mean fatter. I mean that they look tall, you know, and big. But when you see these girls, they're like 5'4". They're tiny. And when you see these booty shorts, which I once went into the Star dressing room, and they're hanging up and they look like toddler underwear. They're tiny, tiny. And I mean, not to gross you guys out, but let's just. Women bloat when they get their period.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gain 2 to 3 pounds regularly, and not to mention, I mean, nobody ever writes about this, but like getting your period in those white shorts. I mean, that's just got to be like. I know.
Didn't
Sorry.
even think of that. That's what she's here for.
No, I'm just telling you the women's perspective.
Female perspective.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, you are wearing
That's
pantyhose
brutal.
and stuff, but like, there's just got to be like so many crazy stories backstage.
Okay, I'm looking at some notes that I got from the first 3 episodes. Do any of those girls have tattoos? I didn't see any.
You're not allowed to have tattoos, but they do because it's the 21st century. And so what they do is they put flesh-toned stickers over them for the games.
Oh.
And if the one time, like during the pandemic, they were dancing on the side stages, so I was really close to where they were dancing, and you could see that they had tattoos underneath them. But they're not supposed to. But it is also a tradition for the last 20 years or so for the every team, after the end of the year, they get a little tattoo star on their ankle. Little known detail.
Huh.
So the 5-year veterans have 5 stars? Or
No, I think they just
do
get one. But
okay, it's not like the Ohio State helmet.
but it's specific. Don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Real quick from my notes to just when we're talking appearances. So they may not call them fat anymore, but I was so uncomfortable. This whole thing makes me uncomfortable just from my overall thesis on it, but the girls love it. and the women love it, so who am I to judge? But it does make me really uncomfortable. The makeover scene, like when they're at the salon and they're looking at him and they're like, yeah, I don't think your hair color actually works.
And they totally changed their look.
Some of them completely, like they call their parents and they're like, who are you?
Right.
They FaceTime their parents.
And then they ended up cutting her, right?
They did. Let's
So I just totally. She's all hot anyway. She's a perfect looking girl, but
And now
they're
her
like,
hair's
you know
like
what? You'd
red.
be better. Yeah, you'd be better as a redhead. Now she's a redhead. She goes through all that, and then they cut her.
Yeah.
Well, this is very galling
Paget.
to a lot of people. But another way you could see this is that it's a free makeover. I mean, to do your hair
but you don't get to
professionally.
choose.
I understand that, but you are. This is the thing at the core of the cheerleaders, which is deeply uncomfortable in the 21st century, which is you are not there to be yourself. You are there to be what they need. And the truth is, that's true of football. It's just somehow so much more triggering when it's women. And so what I'd like to drill into for just a second, if you don't mind, is why that made you so uncomfortable. Because like you said, the women enjoy it oftentimes. They're excited about it. They're looking forward to it. So what is it that makes you uncomfortable? Is it because you as a man have been so trained to say, no, honey, you look good in that no matter what the answer is? Or is it because you have daughters and you are a daughter and you don't want, like, what is it triggering?
I think it's both of those things. And I did think about it from a sports perspective, because you'll draft a player and in year 3, they're like, we have to make you a jump shooter. Or, Dwight Powell, all of a sudden, we're going to make you shoot threes. Like, so they're telling you this is what your career is going to be. It just feels different when it's just completely appearance-based. And it's partially daughter, but I think in general, I just don't love the idea that people are going to be primarily judged on their looks. It just feels like a really base societal thing that we should try to not have. But it's always going to be that way.
But I mean, it's very interesting to hear like sports guys say that. I mean, I remember, weren't we talking about your uncle? Somebody's uncle was real creepy with the cheerleaders.
Oh, it was Corby's.
Oh, it was Corby's
uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would bring the binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you're going to have women in very little clothing on the sidelines, and they're orchestrated to get attention and market attention for your team,
they're going to have to.
Does it seem like a good plan to just be like, whatever you do, you?
Like we've talked about this before. I'm just uncomfortable that cheerleaders exist.
Yes.
Yet, like you said, women want to do it. They grow up doing it. They want to be on the sideline cheering.
They love dancing
and looking hot and everything. So who am I to eradicate that?
Well, were either of you impressed by the actual dancing and the solo?
It's incredible.
Dances?
In particular, the parts where they're all together on the field in practice, and they're using the yard markers.
Yes.
They're using the yard line markers, and they're like, all right, from the 35 to the 40, you got to be there in 2 seconds, and you're going to do it in 2 steps. No, it's insane. Even just watching, like when I walk in, my daughter does dance, and even just going to pick her up, and you walk by, and the 16-year-old girls class, I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I could never in a million years pull that off.
I'm a big fan of choreography.
Yeah.
So when they can
especially
do
when
all that,
especially when it's all together.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Well,
very
one
impressive.
of the things I really like about these shows, this one in particular, is that it gives people a real sense of the rigor and the elegance and the grace that these women have.
Yeah, they're not just out there
shaking their ass,
jumping around,
and for 50 years,
but
the line
we also
has
wonder
been,
how much different would it be if they were just out there doing this? Is it that big of, they're going through all of this to get trained dancers and but if they just threw out a bunch of
models,
Hooters girls or whatever, just put that uniform on them, is there any difference at all? Do they sell the same amount of calendars?
I don't think so.
Is the Cowboys record the same? On
that one,
do they make the same money?
No, I think it's a decent question. I mean, Tex Schramm's original idea was to hire models because he wanted beautiful women on the sidelines. And then Dee Brock, who he hired to kind of run this thing, was a model. And she was like, sorry, models don't move. So you're not going to get this thing, which is beautiful women that are also going to be lithe and, get the crowd going. So, but they end up going in that direction. They ultimately get both. I think that's owner. I think both Tex Schramm and then later Jones wanted really hot women on the sidelines. I think if women had been in charge of it, it would have been more talent-based.
If you think about it, though, Dan, I mean, even strippers, not to compare them to strippers, but they're dancing. They don't just stand up there. They have to work at it.
Yeah.
Like, they have to actually have a routine, and they make more money because they don't just stand there and look hot.
Yeah.
So I think that the routine does matter quite a bit, and it's super, super impressive.
When you talk about what made you uncomfortable, it made me uncomfortable that the first 2 cuts were black girls.
Oh.
That was a tough look. That was a tough look. I was really
Only like 4 out of the 36 or 42 or whatever were black.
And the first 2, yeah.
Like, why not just mix it up? But
that tells you something about where we are as a culture. Like, there is a moment when
just
they
doing it.
absolutely never would have done that.
Yeah.
You know, like in 2021,
and there's a moment,
22.
But then there was a moment when they absolutely would have, and now
Yeah.
we're back there.
But I mean, you know, I think.
But maybe we're now just basing it on.
Well,
that's just
I
the
think
actual
the defense
talent.
would be
It used to be just based on the race. Then it was I won't do it
the
because of that.
overcorrection to the race.
And now it's back to all right. It's just about talent. Charlotte's daughter.
Oh, very pretty.
Is the Turk though?
Dude,
You know what the
thought
Turk
about
means? The
No.
Turk is the guy at training camp before cell phones that would have to go to somebody's room and say, "Hey, can you bring your playbook? Coach wants to see you."
He was the
like
Grim Reaper.
like the Grim Reaper, yeah.
Yeah, so when you knew, oh man, it's this guy. Like no one wanted to see him.
Yeah.
Isn't it
They
amazing?
would show that
too?
in Hard
People would, like,
Knocks back
avoid
in-
him. Yeah.
Don't you think it's amazing when the girls come in there, like the Grim Reaper has gotten them, and then they sit down and they're like, "Hi," you know, and you're like, "You're getting
You know
cut.
what you're
you
here
know
for.
You're
You
getting
didn't
cut."
invite her in there, and they're like, "Hey, first of all, we all think you're just adorable." Oh, thank you,
thank you.
She's the special projects officer.
Oh my God,
for
there's
the Dallas
there's so
Cowboys.
many Jones kids with fuzzy titles.
Man, I
So
want
many
one of
of
those. I want a fuzzy title.
What do you want to be, bud? Just not
I want a
broke?
fuzzy title and then $1 billion,
Yeah.
parachute.
Maybe it's not just the title.
Then this is the piece of audio I wanted to play for you guys from episode 2. It is during cuts.
Here's our concern.
Yes.
It's your kicks and your flexibility, and your flexibility and your kicks, and your
Yes.
kicks and your flexibility.
Yes, ma'am.
And we will be making cuts throughout this very rapid next set of weeks, and that's where we are.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not in our top 36, and it is in the category of high kicks. Our experience is that there won't be enough time for your kicks to be game ready for our show.
I believe I can get there for you all.
And then they always have the I try to talk myself into.
We
you're
don't know
drowning.
that yet after 3 days of training camp, to be honest with you. We don't think you'll be ready for this team.
I know I can do it.
Oh, I think
know
you
I
can do it. I
can,
don't.
You know what? Also, just the fact that they have a training camp. So
You
it's
know-
not the first cuts aren't the cuts. So it's they cut them down to like 44, and they're like, well, okay, now we'll go do training camp, and we'll cut you throughout this. It's brutal, man.
By the way, one thing that's not discussed in this is unusual in professional cheerleading. Most places don't have this protracted training camp experience, and they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay? So we see these girls staying at the Gaylord. I don't know how that happened. Generally,
I'm
what
sure
has
they put
happened,
them up at
what
the
has
Gaylord,
historically happened during training camp is you are sleeping on somebody's couch, in somebody's extra room, in your car. Like, girls do crazy stuff for like
Okay.
a month.
So for TV, they're putting them at the Gaylord. They don't want to
Exactly.
show them.
They don't want to show them. Yeah.
I know I can do it.
Oh, I think
know
you
I
can do it. I
can,
don't
yeah.
think. I don't think you can do it this year. But you should leave
And the
here
camera's
knowing
on,
that
they have to
all the
smile.
judges thought you were beautiful. There's
Try not
this
to cry.
kick and
Except for
split part
pageant.
of the job that needs to also happen.
Look, basically, the weather guy thought you sucked.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, listen.
I held my tears this entire time.
This is by the way, this happens in football
Yeah.
too with dudes, but it's the way they try to make you a bit sympathetic for them.
It's okay. Yeah. Thank you, though.
We get it.
This is the worst part of our job. The very worst.
Like that's a classic football coach thing. Look, this is the hardest part of my job, and oh, I'm sorry. I
which
didn't
one
know
of
you
us
were having
doesn't?
a tough time today.
Which one of us no longer has a job?
Yeah, like it feels like I'd
I think
rather
it's just
have
one of us.
the hard part of a job if
You
it
have the
included
job
the job part.
and the money.
Yeah.
And I have neither.
I think this is harder.
Yeah.
So I actually know that cheerleader that got cut. Her name is Darian, and she's a vet tech at my friend's veterinary clinic. And she's a super sweet girl, and this is like she's tried out multiple times. This is the farthest she's ever gotten. One thing I want to say, though, is if you are going to be on national TV, millions of people watching, and you're going to have this scrutiny of armchair assholes everywhere, don't you want the protective screen of someone saying, you're not ready?
Yeah, for sure.
And
For
I
sure.
know, I mean, I've got a lot of cringes around the room with guys because it's uncomfortable. I think you guys have just, and I appreciate this, been, well conditioned to not criticize women's looks. It is so sensitive for us. It's so sensitive. But these are women that
I
have.
would never.
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, like I didn't mean Dan.
We're
I meant
bonds
other
lists.
people that are off camera. But what I think when you go into this, you know what you're going into, and part of it is that you have to look a certain way, and they know that.
Yeah.
And it's not personal.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
And it has
you gotta
to
get the
be
jump split. That's
that
the most
jump
insane
split. By
thing.
the way, can we just for a moment talk about the insanity of all those women jumping into the air, hitting their crotch, it like at the same time on the field?
I have physical questions about female anatomy after watching that.
Well,
I'm like, what?
You hit your knee so that you don't take all the.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hit your knee scrapes and bruises.
Yeah, I guess they did mention
episode
that.
3 dealt a lot with the injuries and.
Oh yeah, girl,
just
so
what
she
they
had
go through,
12 orthopedic surgeries in 6 years.
Yeah.
So
basically, has to use a walker now.
So between the jump splits, which really can pop they're bad on your hips, and the hair flipping, you see a million hair flips in that, but you don't think about like what that does to your back. I can't remember where it is, but there's a woman she's trying to dance long and lean. She's shorter, and you have to curve your back. They're asking for more length than your body will give you. Yeah, it's an injury. Now, granted, that also happens in the dance world. This is not unique to professional cheerleading. What is unique to professional cheerleading is that you are paid like professional dancers, i.e., not very much, in the context of a lucrative enterprise, which is the NFL.
Yeah.
And the conflict between those two things, that you're paid like an artist, but you're operating in the money-making palace that is Jerry World.
No, it's a weird bit. We talked about this a few days ago. We did another segment on it. Just the whole.
It was when Charlotte was talking about it, I think.
Right. In your segment of episode 1.
Yeah.
Was, talking about what they make and what they don't make, and the Cowboy Cheerleaders itself makes over $1 million, or probably a lot more than that.
Yeah, because that clip was super old.
An interview with Jerry from 15, 20 years ago. So, but it's not like if they lost their top cheerleader that we stop, but it is also like in this day and age, don't you feel an obligation to pay them
like morally
a living wage? Yeah.
So,
but they don't.
They get.
The one girl was saying she thinks what a full-time employee at Chick-fil-A might make.
Which I don't know
Are
what
we
they
talking
get.
40 grand or something?
Maybe less than that. I mean, they get $400. This is what's been reported: $400 a game plus minimum wage hourly. That is so much more than they used to get. And I think from the Cowboys' perspective, they're like, okay, guys, we used to give them $15 a game until the 90s. I mean, that's crazy that they got away with that. And now they've.
But if they gave them each $100,000, the Cowboys would still have the same value. They would. Nobody in the Cowboy organization would feel it at all.
But why is the Cowboys team the most lucrative brand in sport? Because they are a cheapskate on every single level. Talk to somebody that's like, catered an event for Jerry Jones. He's a cheapskate. Like, it's not going to affect their bottom line, but it's that rich guy thing of every single little bit counts. And if the cheerleaders only make X amount through their promotions, sponsorships, et cetera, then they're only going to have this amount. And they do pay more than anybody else in the league. Now, all of this said, I agree with you guys. They should pay more, and they should set an example. And it made me insane when Charlotte Jones was like, people are really cynical about this, as they should be. But, they do it for their meaning and purpose. And she's sitting there talking like she's not the one that could change that.
That's exactly what I said. I'm like,
it's insane.
I think the call is coming from inside the house.
Exactly.
Charlotte.
Exactly. It makes me nuts. And I mean, I just thought, I don't know. What did you guys think of her? How did she come across to you guys?
I would never criticize her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she's perfect.
Oh God, really?
He doesn't like what Rich Dalrymple did, but he can understand it with Charlotte.
Allegedly.
He's a big fan of Charlotte.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she's attractive and she has $1 billion that.
No, to be honest with you,
you could just stay at home every day. Wouldn't you clean that house?
Oh my God,
top to bottom.
Yo, you have no idea what I would do.
But
because the answer is literally anything.
Yeah,
you would start golfing.
I'd probably have to start golfing.
If she wanted you to golf, you'd golf. You'd clean Jerry's glasses during the game.
Oh, the cleanest they've ever been.
Do you know that reference?
No.
Her ex-husband got filmed in the suite one day during a game. Like Jerry handed some guy behind him his glasses, and he cleans them off, and then he gives them back to Jerry. And it was Charlotte's husband.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. No, it isn't. It's great.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you do it?
To be honest,
No.
I do find her very attractive. Yes, she's a very powerful woman. She's very, but also I think
he tell you what to do and stuff.
I think her brothers are I think her brothers are bumbling morons.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
There's
so
she seems to have it together.
she's the brains in the Jones
It's
family.
Succession. You watch Succession?
Yes.
She's Shiv.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. Is I just listen to Jerry Jr. talk, and I'm like, get this clown out of my face. Then I listen to her talk, and I'm like, well, sounds like a business person.
Yeah, for sure.
Even more than Jerry sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
no,
part
it's
of it. And also,
the
she's
show's
hot.
great. Are you in more of it? Or you
Yeah,
just
I
in episode
show up.
1?
I think I show up in the 6th episode.
Is that when you try out when one of the girls
Yes.
gets cut and then you?
Yes.
I need a. Who do we get?
Who do we get?
We're let's grab Sarah.
The
She's been in a ton of these.
journalist. That's great. Everybody wants a 49-year-old journalist.
You know, that would actually be kind of a funny bit.
Just to show how good they are.
Yeah, like Dan tried out.
Throw
for
in
the,
a spare.
Dan tried out for the Mavs Maniacs. And found out
I danced with them one game. Yeah.
how tough it was because he had to go. He went to practice for a couple weeks. You know, obviously they're probably not gonna let you wear a uniform, but
Well, it's actually a classic daily newspaper thing. It's been done many times over the last 50 years.
For
is
sure.
that your young female journalist goes and tries out for the cheerleaders and does a self-deprecating bit.
Okay,
about,
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
that's a good bit.
Like when Mitch Albom went and lived with those homeless people.
It's not quite like that.
I was thinking more of the guy that tried out for the Detroit Lions.
Oh,
you know that?
George Plimpton.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Paper Tigers.
Yeah, I read that book.
And then sometimes teams do weird deals where they have a reality show, and if you win it, you actually get to be on the team.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Get
also
to training
the Cowboys.
camp. That is
do you know that
actually-
story?
No.
They had a reality show. Was it called
Fourth and Long?
Fourth and Long. It was Michael Irvin, Jerry was involved, and they had a reality show where guys came and tried out, like did drills and.
It was to make
the training camp invite.
You would be the final player at training camp.
No way.
So
And
they
then
invite
how-
88 to training camp?
Yeah, 88, 90, and the guy who won
Got the last spot.
made the practice squad coming out of camp. And then a couple people got hurt. Jesse Holly, we're speaking of, and he actually played in several games by winning a show that was on like FX.
And he ended up with a game-winning catch once.
Oh, yeah.
And
he had a read.
Yeah, and now he's really good friends with Jake because they both spoke at a class together.
He unblocked me.
Oh, that's right. He had blocked you on Twitter for some reason.
Yeah, it turns out he's funny too.
Yeah.
Is Jesse Holly funny?
I mean,
he had one funny
He
tweet.
had a funny tweet that he deleted, and I was like, "Why'd you delete it?" And then he blocked me.
Oh.
It was a funny tweet.
Anyway, Sarah, are you now fully subscribed to the Dumb Zone?
Absolutely.
With a full year, thanks to Heart Attack Man. Did you remember that?
I forgot about that.
He donated that. Are you in?
Really?
Yeah. Did you know one of our listeners is the one? We didn't do it.
You're kidding.
We didn't do anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he said he loved Sarah so much that he wanted.
I think he said he read the book too.
Heart attack, man.
Yeah,
he's a sweetheart.
He once had a heart attack. Yeah, don't do that next to intern Rachel.
Why?
Because she just
doesn't want you to steal T Swift's move. She's the biggest Taylor Swift fan I've ever met in my life.
You haven't met me yet.
Although she
Wait,
has,
yes,
you
you
have
have.
taken your Taylor Swift gear off of your computer, so that's a little weird. Yeah.
Which era are you?
All right.
Oh, okay. I'm Lover.
I have no idea
I'm
what
a
they just said.
I'm a 1989 guy.
You know what they said?
Was that English?
So you know what they said?
Yeah. And I'm dealing with this quite a bit. Like this morning, you'll hear this in the news, but I have some audio that pertains to Taylor Swift.
Okay, well, let's move on then.
Yeah.
We'll get to this first.
Hey,
This should be short.
everybody. It's time to answer some of today's viewer mail.
We got to do birthdays and stuff, you know. Sarah, are you familiar with birthdays?
No.
Reading birthdays? Let's see. Day 6, number 2677. That's their subscriber number. So Sarah must be like subscriber number what?
Like
6,300?
Yeah, something like that.
Man, y'all have a lot of subscribers. How many do you have?
I mean, who's counting? Besides me every day.
Yeah.
Today is my Donald Trump -5 George Washington's birthday.
God bless. So he's 40?
Well, he said, I wish I knew who the 5th president was, but there's no way to find out.
No one knows. This is just impossible. He knows the two that matter, the two best.
He sent this Tuesday, but we did a early show, so I never got to it. And he said he wanted us, because his birthday is on Business Wednesday, which is a significant day for Dallas sports birthdays. Fun fact, 2016, all 3 point guards for the Mavs had the exact same birthday of 6/26/84.
Yeah,
Your
that
names
went viral.
were?
Darren Williams, J.J. Barea, and Raymond Felton.
Are you impressed, Sarah?
A little bit.
That Jake knew that.
The funniest thing about doing Mavs postgame when they sucked was you would see, like, they do the B-roll of where the kids go into a hospital or the players go to a hospital or they sign stuff at Academy. And the guy up there was always Raymond Felton, but he never really played. It was just like, man, that's how this goes. Look, Raymond Felton's at a Taco Bueno, but I haven't seen him play in 3 months.
My only goal in life is for Jake and Blake to say, that's a good email.
So far, it's pretty solid, but let's see.
Nora is my leader.
Nice.
Now you're just kissing ass.
More Joe. More Blake.
I'm pretty on board.
And can I request the Blake drop of Let Me See That D? This is from Chad Hemiline.
Hey, Chad, what do you think, Blake? I think that was a good email.
That was a good email.
I do not have that Blake drop, but I have some other ones.
A strange bird is the pelican. His bill holds more than his belly can. He can take in his beak enough food for a week. I'm damned if I know how the hell it can.
That's one.
Okay.
Dave Portnoy. George Clooney. Chuck Berry. Mark Zuckerberg. Charlie Pride. Meghan Markle. Ian Johnson. Billy Crudup. Judy Blume. Kenny Rogers. I saw them in Vegas.
I think I have it.
Let me see that dick.
There you go. I was reading.
Why would you play
What is
drop of yourself?
happening?
You could have just said it.
Because he asked for it. Oh. Is that what you wanted me to do? Say it? Let me say it again.
Dear Uncle Hottie, I'm a day 2, number 1355. I want to share my
Let me see that
disappointment.
dick.
Oh my God!
That you have not.
That's so disturbing.
He was talking to our video guy.
Yeah.
He's being prude.
That you have not referred to the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader documentary as Hard Knockers.
Oh, God, that's right up your alley.
That is super, super solid.
That's from Brad in Paradise.
Although I do think you'll notice
That's
that
where Bodie's from.
they seem to sort of shy away from girls with like very large breasts.
Right, yeah.
I think in dance that's probably just normal in general.
So, yes.
But they don't want you to have like intimidatingly shocking cleavage.
Well, it's also just, I mean, if you go back and look at the squad photos, the 90s are like the boob years, like hardcore, because also that's when breast implants had been really normalized.
Yeah.
In between just the culture and whatever was going on, like the boobs are out. But you have to think, A, it's difficult to do all these routines with that kind of
rack
up tops. And then
just like hitting you in the face and
the
stuff.
other thing is that shirt, the one that ties, it is really, really good at creating cleavage. Like it's actually designed to squeeze you in. So a lot of, it's kind of like a Wonder Bra. I know that doesn't mean anything to you guys, but basically like it will create cleavage for women that don't typically have it.
Shout out to the shirt.
You know, the 90s were when the Cowboys were actually winning Super Bowls.
That's right. Let's bring them back. Bring back the big boobs.
That's a good point, Blake.
Maybe there's a transitive property. What do you call that,
I'll
Jake?
call that a correlation.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Anyway, another email
He
about
tried.
Victoria.
He tried.
Victoria, the very compelling cheerleader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guy says, I don't know her personally, but I've known her dad, Greg Kalina, for 10 years.
Yeah.
Great dude. He was the GM of Del Frisco's in Fort Worth. Now he's a partner in the Stonehouse restaurant on 26 in Colleyville. I'm not familiar with that.
Not either. Sounds delicious, though, Greg.
Greg and his wife, Tina, have 2 sons. Their daughter, Victoria. They all went to Coppell High School. He's a big philanthropic guy in Fort Worth, serving several nonprofits as a board member of the years. He's been generous with this stuff. Anyway, he says he's a great dude.
Well,
Donates,
I don't know Greg personally or what the story is, but I will tell you that towards the end of the series, Victoria basically throws her dad under the bus and says that the only person that supported her is her mom, and that her dad and brothers have never seen her dance.
He's a busy guy. At nonprofits.
So he may be a nice dude, but you know, I don't know. What did you guys think of Victoria, real quick?
So if he donates money to us, is he donating to a nonprofit?
Technically, right now, yes.
Yeah.
You could write that off right away.
Yeah.
You know, I think the thing with her mom is weird. A little too much, a little too tight. But she's a nice lady. I wish her the best. She sleeps in a weird child bed, also.
Is it like a children's bed?
Dude,
It looks like a kid's room.
It looks like honestly a room that I would have had. It's so decked out in cowboy stuff, and then it might be like a full-sized bed. I know you said they're small, but it looks like, because she lives at home.
Yeah.
It's a little uncomfortable.
Did I get the Greg Tepper birthday the other day?
You did. Tepapalooza.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Well, happy birthday to him again then. And then
there's a freebie for you.
Finally,
Grego.
Dear Dan, I thought we were safe, but I was scrolling through LinkedIn. I saw a post from my alma mater, SMU, featuring the one and only sports mayor.
On LinkedIn?
Yes, this is Eric Johnson.
He's just carpet bombing all social websites.
He's trying to hide from us.
I love sports.
Good luck.
And I believe we have a video to accompany this video, man.
I love sports.
If we want to fire this up. Sports mayor.
I do. I admit it. I love sports.
He admits it.
Yep.
It's hard. It's hard for a man to admit.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
let's see
outside
what he
the
put on
cultural Overton
LinkedIn.
window.
Hi, I'm Eric Johnson, the mayor of Dallas, and on behalf of our city, I want to congratulate SMU on their well-deserved accomplishment of joining the esteemed Atlantic Coast Conference. This achievement is a proud moment for our entire city. It signifies not only a triumph for SMU, but also a pivotal moment that will elevate our community and enrich our sports culture. To the ACC community, I extend a warm welcome to Dallas. Your presence in our city brings a vibrant energy and a spirit of camaraderie that unites us all. So to SMU and the ACC, I look forward to the thrilling seasons ahead. Pony up.
We need to do some man on the street.
I love sports. I do. I admit it.
Because he said it's uniting us all.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Just go around Dallas, man
Yeah.
on the street, and
Yeah.
all right, your thoughts on the ACC? What?
So that was the video congratulating SMU for joining a conference?
Yeah.
That's what he did that day?
Today.
That was today?
Yeah.
When did he finally admit it and say that he liked sports?
Well, it took we had to pull some teeth.
Therapy.
Yeah.
But we got to
I
do
mean,
it.
Yeah.
but like, what was the context of that?
It was, I think, it was one of the, it was when they were bringing us lacrosse team here or
something. I don't care.
They were getting another fifth-tier
This is
team.
Sam. So he said, hopefully, if SMU beats Duke
I love
this year,
sports. I do. I admit it. I love sports.
if Duke, if SMU beats Duke this year, we could send a busload of our finest to Durham. Our bit, Sarah, is because he bets a lot of different mayor's stuff. Like he just posted yesterday, I think, on Twitter about winning a box of chocolates from the Minnesota, the mayor of Minnesota.
It's a bit that has gotten out of control across the sports landscape, where a mayor will tweet another one, and they're like, "All right,
and
mayor,
there's nothing
such and
really
such
on
in
the
Denver,
line.
You win, and I send you barbecue."
Yeah, he's betting someone else's barbecue. There's nothing really betting. Like if we bet, we're betting something real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we said we should bet if the Mavs win, we send a bus full of homeless people that have to go live in Minneapolis now.
Oh, my God.
Right?
You made it high stakes.
And it's very high stakes. And as Dan pointed out, we have politicians in this state with quite a bit of experience of loading.
We do.
So
people up
it's
and
already, we've
sending them-
normalized it, where people won't protest if that's done. So
No,
let's do it.
Another bus.
Let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
Let's make it a reality show and follow them and their.
I love it.
And just watch like the $10,000 credit card that they're given in the hotel room at the Ritz, because I hear that's what we do. Also, Sam says, by the way, LinkedIn, a good resource for unemployed people like yourselves to find your next gig. Keep your heads up. P.S. More gash.
No.
That sounds really dirty.
It is.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
Okay, a couple quick ones here before we get to my Trump audio, because it's a big night.
Oh, that is
tonight. Oh, yeah.
Yep, we're going to do a little debate prep. Someone that I can almost promise you Sarah Hepola has written about before has passed away at the age of 79. This is Texas icon Kinky Friedman.
Oh.
Friedman.
You ever meet him?
R.I.P., no.
That's
He's ran
surprising
for
to me.
governor.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Austin, kicking around Austin.
Yeah, singer, songwriter, sort of comedian, I guess. Always had a cigar. There was probably a time when you're first starting out in your political infancy, like 17, 18, or for Dan, 51, where any third-party candidate, you don't know how impossible it is. So I'm like, Ralph Nader, this guy kicks ass. Like, I think he can do it. And he gets he'd get like 4% of the vote. That's how I was with Kinky Friedman when he'd run. Because he's like, oh, this guy's not a politician. He's got a cigar. He's the marshal at the Greenville Avenue parade that I'm going to, at 18.
I
and he
appreciate
would get 3% of the vote.
But I like the criteria you have for your president.
Yeah. Hey.
Cigar.
So what you got to do
People
is,
have gotten it done with less.
You got to get him to win one of the parties.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that would have been Trump in the past.
They need the machine behind him.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So his official X account confirmed this death with this very Kinky Friedman-esque statement. Kinky Friedman stepped on a rainbow at his beloved Echo Hill, surrounded by friends and family.
Beautiful.
It
That
really
is beautiful.
Kinkster endured tremendous pain and unthinkable loss in recent years, but he never lost his fighting spirit and quick wit.
He did lose the fight, though, in the end.
Technically, this round goes to whatever disease he was afflicted with. There was a man arrested for a shooting in Irving that took place earlier this week. It happened inside a Chick-fil-A. And if I had to rank for you the restaurants where I would be surprised that somebody murdered two people, Chick-fil-A would be really, really low on the list. Maybe the lowest.
All right, let's.
I'm going to disagree.
What's the top of the list?
Burger King. Number 2 is Popeyes. Even though it's one of my favorite fast food chains, possibly my favorite, number 2 is Popeyes.
I'm going to disagree just because they have a really long drive-through line.
But they're quick with it,
So
though.
people run in there like, hey, I got to avoid that line. I'm going to run in, and now there's this big line in there.
But they do the 2-line system, but at some point you got to merge.
Yeah.
And people are
People
real
will
dicks
cut you
about
off
it.
in there, and then the guy that has to wait, and now you're behind him, but you already got your food.
Yeah, that's tough.
So wait, was it inside the
This one was
facility?
inside. No word on whether or not this man had been frustrated by the drive-through line and then went inside. Yeah, it's a.
Why is he not wearing a shirt?
That day, it was not his pleasure. They still do that bit, by the way.
Oh yeah, they do. You ever?
You know what? I'm going to start protesting Chick-fil-A over this. Talking about things that went away culturally.
Yeah, the problem was their food was too good.
Yeah, and a relatively good price.
Like at first, it's like, yeah, we're going to boycott because they're like
Not
anti-gay
anymore.
and stuff. Yeah, okay. Wait. So then we can't go there ever?
Yeah.
And then people are going there on the sly.
Don't you also think that
Even
if
like
you
Russell Westbrook in that one meme? We're
Yeah. Like you could be gay and you're like, look, it's the chicken.
Well, even in
The chicken's not gay.
Even in Silicon Valley, the Satan worshippers brought in a tray of chicken minis or whatever.
Yeah.
They said it's the Lord's chicken, but damn, it's good.
That's the episode that Melania's in. The love of my life outside of Charlotte.
Yeah, she's great.
And
She was
Cameron?
Guilfoyle's girlfriend,
How
which
many
was
do you
like
get?
the least believable thing of all time.
We've talked to her. I booked her.
You did.
Milana, not Melania.
Milana. Not.
Wait, who's Melania? That's Trump?
Yeah. My bad. Do you wear your glasses outside in the morning?
Yeah.
Have we talked about this already? Because it's happened to me every morning now. We're getting glass fog. The heat advisory will extend through today.
Like it's just so hot when you walk outside?
So humid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross.
It sucks so bad. They're all fogged up. You try to wipe them off. Now they're all dirty. Ugh. It was like 104 the other morning, and I just walked inside my house and said to my wife, why do we live here?
Was that like 2 days ago? I think
You
I
talked
know the
about
day.
that, yeah.
Just because you try to get up earlier, too, you could beat that, but
Yeah,
you can't
you
beat
can't.
it now. No.
You can't.
Why do we live here? We don't have to. We can go live in Colorado,
Yeah, why don't you live in Colorado?
and then we could just do DFW sports talk still.
Yeah. My kids are young enough to where
Yeah, they don't have any
Don't
ties
mind.
yet.
they don't exactly love the heat either. By the way, these are the sort of things, the heat advisory being extended through today into tomorrow, these are the sort of things I want to hear from Scott Padgett about.
Well, maybe Victoria is actually busy telling us about the cold,
weather?
the cold front.
The
yeah.
heat index?
Did you say the heat advisory ends tomorrow? Like it's going to be better?
I think it's better as far as them saying you could die if you're outside. It's not going to be quite that bad.
Isn't this the kind of heat that your dad will mow his acre?
Yeah.
With a push mower.
He's a grinder.
Yeah.
Guy's an animal.
Side note, I gotta own up to something. I forgot to call my dad on his birthday on Tuesday.
Like all day?
Yeah.
We should have called him on the show.
I didn't have him in my. We talked about him that day, and I didn't even think about it.
Oh.
I didn't have that one in my calendar, I guess, or that calendar populated. I called him yesterday, and yeah.
Did he?
He shrugged it off.
Did he
but,
point it out? Do you think it hurt him?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it hurt him, but he would never tell me that, and I felt so bad about it. And because I'm like the good one about that. My brother, he ain't calling. But me, I've been pretty good about it for forever, even though I don't care at all about people's birthdays.
Yeah, and I think, I wonder how I think I would be fine with it. Like, I don't
think
want
you'd
my
be fine with
birthday
it.
acknowledged, yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it bothered him. So anyways, tough break. Old chapster.
How can we make it up to him? Let's get him a hooker.
Okay.
And you know he's already down because he's got nothing to bet on.
Well, you got
Listen, bud, he's found something.
What's he doing?
What was the thing you were talking about earlier?
Lacrosse.
Hawk to a girl?
Yeah,
Oh,
Hawk to a
Hawk to a
girl.
girl.
You know Hawk to a girl?
No, I don't even know what those words are.
Damn, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you living under a rock?
He's not online at all.
Reading books and
Yeah,
probably
what are you
doing
doing? Reading books and writing articles?
Yeah,
driving
lame.
Rolls Royces?
Probably doing
The
adult
level
stuff.
of this hostility
Cadillacs
does
or
not
whatever.
match my not knowing hop to it, girl.
Boy, that's the
Oh, hawk to it. Yeah, I saw this on your Instagram.
That's-
I didn't know what the hell it meant. I
that's
was
the
like,
Kids Bop version. Hop
Why?
to it, girl.
what does this mean?
It's a yeah, he's right.
Yeah, bring one of those every day.
It's a guy doing man on the street interviews, and he's asking women. I think it's in downtown Nashville, like in a bar district. What makes you wife material? One of the girls is like, "Oh,
Let's play it."
I'm loyal." I was stalling, but
Oh,
But I don't know. Yeah, we don't. And
Okay, hold on.
they ask her. Yeah,
We can just give her the audio.
yeah, we can just play the audio.
Although maybe I should just let you recreate it.
I thought you
Why
might
am
want
I
to
an
hear
idiot?
it.
I'm sorry.
She says, I'm loyal. I'm a good friend. And then her friend pops in and she's like, what makes you wife material? And then she starts talking and then he follows up with, what's one move in bed that'll make a man go crazy? And she goes, ha!
Oh my
Spit
God.
on that thing.
Oh my God.
I might have had the order backwards. It might have been spit on that thing. Ha! Tuh!
No, you nailed it.
Yep. And now she's the most famous person on the planet right now.
Well, I
She's like
mean,
a 22-year-old
I
girl.
think you might have a different Twitter feed than I do.
I think that's becoming increasingly clear.
You nailed it.
Yeah. Cullen County Civil Court judge has dismissed the sexual assault and defamation claims against one Dak Prescott. A couple weeks ago, it was no evidence of a crime, so the criminal charges were gone, and now it's over.
That was a very flimsy case. I remember coming on and
Yeah.
talking about that with you guys before.
Yeah, and it was a weird part of it where
Oh, they wanted $100 million.
yeah, shoot for the moon. But the fan had the lady's attorney on,
Oh God, he was a mess.
which it was a mess. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and they're their flagship too. And
Bold decision.
And it was the guy's first case.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
He was like just out of law school. He's like, I'm going to sue them for $100 million.
I'm gonna go after the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
So he originally wrote zillion. And
Yeah.
they're like, that's actually not a
with
word.
a crayon.
Okay, well,
He
then
wrote it
million.
with a crayon. And then my final story here. So there's a book coming out about Trump in the apprentice years. I think it's called Apprentice in Wonderland or Apprenticeship in Wonderland. It's
Man,
not
right before the election, that will hurt him.
I know. It doesn't focus on, I don't think, the presidential years really at all. But the guy did do all the interviews post his first term.
All right.
He went to Trump Tower maybe in 2019, and this guy had written about him as a writer in New York for a long time. And so he had a good relationship with him. Trump gave him a ton of access. And so he goes and does his interviews with him, and I don't know why this comes up. Maybe they're just talking about fame and celebrity as it is. But the guy rolled on all of it, and he went on CNN yesterday and played some of it. And here's Trump weighing in on two female celebrities.
What do you think about Taylor Swift? The
I
most
think
famous, one of the most famous people right now.
Yeah, I think she's beautiful,
Uh-huh.
very beautiful. I find her very beautiful. I think she's liberal. She probably doesn't like Trump, but I hear she's very talented. But I think she's very beautiful, actually. Unusually beautiful.
Golly, that's creepy.
So creepy.
Two things obviously jump out in there. The fact that he's like, I hear she probably doesn't like Trump, rather than
Third
just
person.
me. Yeah.
No, third person is big for him.
Oh, it's huge.
But that sounds, that's weird. That sounds like he'd be talking current day, because why wouldn't she like Trump back then? Why would he, like now he's very
'cause-
aware of, this person, liberal,
He was mean.
probably doesn't like Trump. Like if this is way pre-2020, that just
It's not
feels
way
weird.
pre, but it's probably, like I said, I don't know. He did a ton of interviews with him in New York and at Mar-a-Lago, but it's sometime around 2018, 19, 20. And, I think most people who follow her, she hasn't been as vocal about it as she is now, but
That's when he first started speaking politically, though? Because I don't know that back in the early Apprentice days he was just complaining about people being liberal and stuff.
no, but he'd already been, this is,
Oh, 2020.
yeah, I think
All
this
right,
is
he
maybe
was-
right after he got
he
done.
was president.
Yeah,
I'm
this
sorry.
is post-presidency.
I'm sorry. I was thinking pre-presidency.
Yeah. So then he's asked about another famous
Can we dump that or no?
female.
We're live streaming today, so we can't dump things.
I was disappointed in Kim. With Kim,
Kim Kardashian, obviously.
I was disappointed in Kim. With Kim, I did a lot of prison reform that she couldn't get done with anybody else. I let people out of prison that I thought were deserving to be let out. And then after it was all over, she announced that she's not supporting me. And she only did that to be cool in Hollywood.
That's one of my favorite all-time burns. Is you're just trying to be cool. When somebody would say that to you in high school or something, you're like, fuck, they're right.
Yeah, it's hard to come back. I kind of was.
Yeah, so debate tonight everywhere you can find television.
So
it's going to do huge numbers.
I heard Brian Curtis talking about the rules.
Lame.
Well, they had a coin toss.
That's awesome.
What?
So they had a coin toss, and if you win the coin toss, you get to choose either which podium you're on. So for people looking, the left or the right, or you could choose to have the closing remarks.
Okay.
Biden won the coin toss. What do you think he chose?
Closing remarks?
He chose which podium to be on.
See, you'd think you'd defer to the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he picked a win, didn't he?
I would think. I guess it depends. Does he have a real weird thing on his one side of his face?
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
But I would think you'd want closing remarks.
Yeah.
Also, they can cut mics.
Lame.
Because of.
It's because
these
of Trump
are all
in 2016.
Trump rules.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he just will talk over you. Also, because of Trump, there's no crowd.
I think that's smart.
I think it is if you want to just find out what they say, but Trump feeds off the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, part of it.
So you're saying you think it's a disadvantage?
To Trump.
To Trump.
Yes.
You have to remember, CNN is still reeling from their very curious decision to let Trump do a town hall about a year ago.
That's right.
That got their their version of a program director fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they did it and clearly had not taken care of the crowd's political leanings. And it was just a bunch of people yelling, firing him up the whole time. And he didn't pay any attention. He did the bit that I think I told you where they told him, hey, you can't walk closer than the logo. There was a CNN logo in the middle, and they wanted some space in between the moderator and Trump. And somebody who wrote about it said that in commercial breaks, he would walk over and kind of put his foot on it. It's like, what are you going to do about it, bitch? So CNN is now all right, we have got to try to control this uncaged beast.
That is true, but I also find crowd reactions distracting. In the same way that you wanted to see the voting on the DCC show silent.
Yeah.
I think it I want to have a pure reaction to what the guys are saying instead of hearing this what may or may not be
biased crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, TV has always, there's so much bias that goes into it. It's the legendary thing that if you went to school for radio TV, did you guys study this? The
Nixon JFK?
The Nixon-Kennedy.
Nixon, yeah.
Yeah, the Nixon-JFK debate, where apparently 70% of people who listened to it on radio, because many people did consume their media that way back then, said that Nixon won the debate. And 70% of the people that watched it on TV said that JFK won.
Yeah. Because Nixon was sweating really bad.
Yeah, he had been sick. He's disgusting looking. He wouldn't wear makeup because he thought it was gay. But back in the early days of TV, you know, Kennedy's I'll do it. And he's all hot and young and everything. And
anyways, there's your news.
Are you guys going to watch the debate?
The question is, will I watch it a second time tomorrow morning?
And
I'm obsessed with watching Trump debate.
Why?
Because he doesn't care at all about anything. He doesn't know hardly anything he's talking about. And this is like Shane Gillis's bit. Is he just one guy's oh, I care about education. I care. And the next guy's I care about religion. And then Trump's like, Ted Cruz's wife is ugly.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, okay, yeah. You got a dog wife, Ted. Everybody knows.
You want to show Sarah Hawk to a girl?
Oh, we got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the visual.
Yeah.
See how close I came to nailing it.
Do you know what makes you wifey material?
Me, wifey?
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Explain. What's everything?
I'm loyal. This is my wife. What makes me
So this is the introduction to her.
That fat she got.
Girl, turn around. Let me see.
That fat ass she got.
Wow.
Okay, so she's a wild ride. So
leave a message to your last body.
I love love you, Pookie, forever.
They must have been doing the right thing.
What can I say? Bit the cobwebs off this thing.
He knocked the cobwebs off this thing.
How do you get over a breakup? Y'all get over a breakup right now?
The only way to get over one is get under another. Amen.
Good line.
So you got a side.
Very solid.
Maybe I got 3. Maybe I got 7.
How many's on your roster?
There's only one I want, but so he's serious. I'm a bullshit.
So how many you got on your roster right now?
Maybe 4. 1. She said 1.
How many you got on your roster?
None.
And then the gold.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh,
that
you
do?
gotta give him that hawk to and spit on that thing. You get me?
There's only one I want.
Give us that last one more time.
He just spit on his shoulder.
Oh.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh,
that
you
do?
gotta give him that hawk to and spit on that thing. You get me?
Let's do the baseball one.
She's got
this was
swag.
Last night in baseball, you have that video?
We're already here. Might as well.
We're in the middle of Haktua.
He just spit on his shoulder as he was sitting there and went to spit, a little humid out, I guess, and mouth getting a little bit dry. Didn't quite clear his arm and just landed right on the shoulder.
Haktua.
Let's do it again.
Are you serious?
I was in a game last night.
Really?
Yeah. Major League Baseball.
It's a thing, Sarah. See, now you know.
CJ loved
Aren't you
it.
glad you're here? Now
I'm
you'll
really
know
questioning my
reference.
affiliation with this podcast.
Many
My
do.
name's-
Many
After
do.
all we've been through?
My name's not anywhere listed in the credits, is it, or anything?
Yeah, we tagged
Is
you in
it-
the
is it-
tweet.
Yeah, you're all over it.
Googleable?
Yeah, sadly.
No.
Sorry.
Look, Sarah approved our run sheet.
You know, Tim and D TV. What is that?
Man on the street kind of stuff.
It's just, yeah.
TikTok?
There's a million of them. Probably. Yeah, YouTube
Yeah.
and TikTok, yeah.
And these ladies are they college age? What are?
They appear to be about 21 to 23, maybe.
Well, she was a teacher, so old enough, probably out of college.
Haktua
Yeah,
was a teacher.
was.
What?
No, that's
Did
all
she
fake.
lose?
Really?
Wait.
You got ball sacked. Blake
Good.
got ball
Yes.
sacked.
Blow me up.
Blake got ball sacked.
Wasn't us.
Finally, it's him.
Good.
Stop the streak.
No, I've been following it.
I
very
felt bad. I
closely.
felt bad for her.
Yeah, no, she wasn't a teacher. She didn't get
That's
fired.
all fake
Everything's
news.
fine. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, what does she
Good.
do?
She spits on that thing.
Okay. Okay.
You get it. So, today in history, actually, I wanted to make sure we do some sponsorships somewhere. It is sponsored by our Monday remote. Blake, where are we today? We're out live at Dallas Athletic Club.
Dallas Athletic Club.
But
yeah.
Monday, where are we going to be?
We're at the VFW in Grapevine.
Nice.
Hey.
Short drive for y'all.
Yes, you get
Just
to drive across town
Right.
now.
Yeah.
For
right
once.
Downtown Grapevine. They're actually having a free lunch for first responders, police, veterans. So if you want some free food and you want to hang out and you're one of those three things. come
So
by and see us.
heroes, first responders, police, veterans, dumb zone.
Dumb zone.
Yes.
Those four here. That's the Mount Rushmore of heroes. Although I'd put us like maybe third or second in there.
Not after 9/11.
Not
After
so-
9/11, we're second. Before, probably right up on top.
Should we go see the memorial? Take a picture in front of it? Are we that close?
I think we're going to broadcast live there at some point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned. I don't know what month. Maybe, I don't know, September perhaps.
Yeah.
But I don't know what day.
Maybe
we would
loop
do
me into that.
I don't know.
I'll schedule it.
We're waiting to hear. All right.
It's a sales thing.
You wouldn't understand.
You were in the
little-
sales
little
meeting
fella.
yesterday.
Totally. I nailed it.
You did.
That's why
you
you
should
need
have
to
seen
bring
Blake,
me into
man.
more
He's
of
so into
them.
business now.
I can really put on a front, Sarah.
He should be an actor. He's really good.
You think?
Yeah. I think he should do more spots with Blake.
Thank you.
We put him in the video. We just made him dress like a prostitute.
Yeah, you made me
Yeah, don't do that to him. You guys are trying to hide his light in the bushel because you know he's a better actor than the two of you.
You know, we invited somebody else to be in that video.
Oh. Was it Charlotte Jones?
It was you.
Oh, I know.
What if
Listen, I'm
Charlotte
very busy. I'm doing like 3 jobs right now.
She's
I
so
don't
busy she doesn't know about Haktua.
That's right.
I know.
How are you not wasting your time with that?
I know. There's a lot of things I don't know.
So today is Thursday, June 27th. On this day in 1973, 18-year-old David Clyde made his Texas Rangers debut. He was an 18-year-old pitcher. He had been pitching in high school a month earlier. But he got drafted by the Rangers, makes his debut in front of a sellout crowd at Arlington Stadium. Actually, 3 weeks earlier, he went in the draft. He goes 5 innings, gives up 1 hit, strikes out 8, and wins the game. He would go on to a Hall of Fame career.
Yep.
On this day in 1991, Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, he was the first black jurist to sit in on the nation's highest court, announced his retirement. His departure led to the nomination of?
I don't know.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas. You said sit in on the. I mean, he was sitting on, like he was a Supreme Court judge.
Yeah, it wasn't
You sit on.
Like you made it
Not
sound
sitting.
like
he paid
just
six.
You're
kinda
sitting
like,
in.
He
Like he
got
paid
us.
$6.90 and got
Hung out for a little
got
bit.
to be on the Supreme Court. Oh, it's funny.
On this day in 1993, Julia Roberts marries Lyle Lovett.
Up, not gonna last.
It's true.
I saw him at a wedding once. Yeah.
Do you guys think she's
Fun
beautiful?
note. No.
Really?
No.
What's going on with people not thinking Julia Roberts is beautiful?
Yeah.
I think
That's
she's
my
super
opinion.
beautiful.
I
No,
mean-
but I know a lot of guys that think.
You want to make love to a Muppet?
Man. we got
Really?
2 haters in here.
She looks like a Muppet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at her and tell me no. Look it up.
Google it.
On this day in 2021.
What if Blake would have said yes, as in like it's always been his dream?
Yeah.
Like he just gets so fired up by the Muppets. Some of them are kind of cute.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Janice, kind of cool.
Yeah, hippie.
Yeah. Amen.
She's down. And on this day in 2021, F9. The 9th installment of the Fast and Furious movie franchise took in $70 million in its first weekend. The biggest opening for a film since the pandemic began.
Got my money.
I think we have that movie poster.
The F9? Are we on it?
Somebody spelled it Nein.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And
that one was a tough one because The Rock wasn't in it. I think he might have already been out by that point, but
how many months later did they accept their Academy Award? 10 months later, perhaps.
Yeah.
Is that Julie Roberts with Elmo? There's no
Sorry.
resemblance at all.
no, yeah, I can't tell which one's Elmo.
Okay.
Elmo's cute, but
Julia Roberts is very beautiful, and she was sort of like the epitome of 80s and 90s
yeah, I never
beauty.
really understood that.
And what's interesting is that recently I've seen a real backlash against her. A lot of men are voicing that they never thought, excuse me, Julia Roberts was beautiful, and I find this fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to go there. So
birthdays today of famous people. Current Ranger Jonah Heim is 29. You know what
like
they
a
call
good
him,
dude.
Sarah? His nickname, the Hyman. The Hyman.
No,
Man.
he's not.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Can I ask a question about
cannot be
Haktua?
broken.
Can I ask a question about Haktua?
you're gonna be thinking about it all day.
It's been on my mind.
See, aren't you glad you came here today?
Not
At
really,
first you
but-
weren't.
I feel like if I'm gonna be doing this, I might as well get the
We're culturing you.
some pointers here. Is the idea of this move
Yeah,
before?
I think it's kind of during.
It's just
You just kind of like
the explosion
One move in
is
bed that
just.
makes a man go crazy every time.
Oh,
Man,
you
do.
gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
I think it's possibly during or maybe even at the beginning. Yeah, I think there's probably we're gonna lube this up and kick this off.
Okay,
with,
so that's her kickoff. That's her
Yeah.
kickoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're also acting like this was a well thought out answer that she had researched for years in advance of this interview.
I mean,
I was gonna say, it seemed like she was. Didn't
She's
seem like
pretty
a new. It didn't
confident.
seem like a new idea to her. It seemed like, yeah, it's worked before. Yeah. Yeah.
Former Ranger manager Chris Woodward.
Wow.
Woody
is 48.
It's not always going to be the guy with the best stats.
Chris Woodward used to give out a award after every game. It was a hat.
It sounds so dumb when you repeat it in the postscript.
Well, here, let him explain it.
So we got a little prize to the player of the game, and I want to explain kind of what it's about, guys, because obviously we have an identity that we want to create here. We talk about culture a lot. We talk about the way we play, and the guy that represents that, it's not always going to be the guy who has the best stats. It's going to be the guy who represents exactly what we talk about. The grit, the competitiveness, the FU mentality, all of that. Everything we've talked about up to this point. And I'm going to hand that every day. After today, it's going to be you guys. You guys are going to give it to the next guy. So whoever wins today is going to hand it to the next guy.
Remember this era?
Who got Mr. Hat? Not the
Yeah.
guy with the best stats. Got to
I
play
paid her to
with
sing
grit
this.
And fight. Let's see who got Mr. Hat.
Last night.
What'd you pay her?
I think $200.
Why don't you tell us these things?
$200.
That was
then you would have helped
that-
pitch in or
and that was
something, I don't
before we were broke.
No, yeah.
Yeah, now we're broke.
No, I just
Now don't ask me for shit, all right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I knew I'd messed up when I told Dan, hey, just listen to this. If you don't like it, we don't have to play it. And then he didn't say a word. And then
I started playing it every day.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I got a feeling that maybe I shouldn't have made that.
I thought it was great.
And then we just started playing it.
Every day. What an era.
Yordan Alvarez is 27.
Here's that.
Baseball.
He's a very good hitter for the Astros.
Jim Edmonds is 54.
He made a great catch in center field for the Cardinals.
Also won today's War Games. He's just the guy with the highest WAR of today's birthdays. Like 60.5. Aren't you surprised it was that high?
He's pretty good.
Right.
No way.
Shut up. Toby Maguire is 49.
Spider-Man.
Khloe Kardashian is 40.
Huh.
Why do you say that?
Is she?
Are you anti-Khloe?
Just saying.
Especially in this time of grief when she just lost her father.
Oh.
What?
What?
It's like 30 years ago, or
Yeah.
No, actually, the juice just passed.
Oh, that's right.
A couple months ago.
Wait, that's not. What are you talking about? That's her. You think that's her real dad?
I just know. I don't think that at all.
That's
a
a big rumor. So did you know she was a big part of Dallas for a while?
That she lived here with
Lamar
Lance Odom.
Yeah. So here.
Lamar.
For me,
Odom.
the only team I've ever been a part of was the Lakers. I've been to other arenas before, but actually being now a part of the Mavericks organization, it's weird. I'm a little shy to go to the wives' lounge right now. I'm feeling so taken back. I could only imagine how Lamar feels.
Dude, so I was looking for something for the Open or something today, which we didn't have because of Blake Golf. But so I was going through old Khloe and Lamar stuff. I can't believe
bangers.
I can't believe this era happened.
Yeah.
This is the year after the Mavs won the championship. They signed Lamar Odom or trade for him or something. And I remember even asking Cuban about it, and he got mad. Like, won't be a distraction at all. It'll be great.
He called the station, is what happened. You guys were talking about it. It was at a guy's night out.
Oh, was that it?
Were you there? Were
No,
you
I
engineering?
was listening.
Yeah, I was running the board. I'm pretty sure. Cuban called.
I stopped where I was going, and I stayed in the parking lot to hear this.
To, like, defend the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as this reality show is showing, it was like his first practice. He's exhausted, and she makes him go out house hunting because, like, he doesn't understand. This is important to me and all this. And he's like, he just wanted to rest. He
Like
had
a
just
normal
got here.
pro athlete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow that failed.
They installed a sex swing in the room at the W.
As one does.
Yep.
I feel like when Cuban is defensive or like feels like somebody has nailed him with a critique, like that's when he gets really angry and like calls a show, and like I feel like
it's not an all the time thing.
No, but I feel like the fact that he called the show is a sign that he knew you were right and he was trying to save face and defend himself.
Yeah, defend his guy too.
Yeah,
he needed it to work.
I think if I was a player for Cuban, I would appreciate all he does.
Yeah.
because he does just defend the player. He once told me he'd get me.
I remember
about
that.
the Nick Van Exel thing.
I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made your producer cyber dust him to book him.
He was trying to get a new app off the ground.
I'm pro Cubes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where are we? Oh, Lori Morgan is 65.
Good friend of ours.
Country singer? Why?
Oh, no. Who am I thinking of? Lori Petty.
Yeah, Lori Morgan
Troy's
once
ex-wife.
dated Troy Aikman.
They weren't married?
I don't think they were married.
Okay.
What do you think of Troy?
He's very tall and he's handsome in person. He
So
was
hot.
so statuesque. I mean, I
Handsome
really
is
just
a massive understatement.
I thought that he would be. I don't know. For some reason, I thought quarterbacks were smaller.
No, that's
he's-
actually completely wrong.
Okay, well, again, I don't know much
It's
about
not fair.
I'm just messing with you.
It's not fair how he's hot.
It was startling.
55
how
or 60, he's
good
still hot. He's
looking. He was.
he's like the perfect human.
It's like an Adonis or something.
I know. He's so hot.
Makes beer.
J.J. Abrams is 58.
Look,
Did we
everyone.
get-
He fixed the national anthem.
Everyone is sitting, standing, or kneeling, and no. Yeah, that's an all-time classic South Park.
And Madeline Sweeten is 33. Were you an Everyone Loves Raymond guy? Everybody loves Raymond?
What do you think?
Yeah, that's the
for
easiest
sure,
play on
right?
the board.
Yeah.
So you know who she is? Allie?
Oh, their daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 30.
I think there was a time where Blake could have recited for you the entire CBS primetime lineup Monday to Thursday.
Yeah, I think Raymond was on after King of Queens.
He loved King of Queens.
So I
Blake,
ran into that
how old were you at this time?
during Raymond years?
Yeah.
I don't know, 15.
We all had an
Teenager.
era.
My
You
mom
know?
used to watch King of Queens, so I watched it with her. Then I loved it, and then spilled into all the rest.
Very sweet.
She also hated The Simpsons, which is why I never watched it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Simpsons were banned for me for a long time.
No way.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I found my ways.
Conservative parents did not like The Simpsons.
You
No.
both come from conservative parents?
Relatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They prefer the Cosby Show.
Yeah. Let's get some wholesome entertainment with
Yeah.
this serial rapist.
Yeah. And then watch the Duggars.
Yeah, there you go. No, and hey, while we're at it, here's a show about a family where they have a big family, and the dad is a great dad. He's a pastor, and he'll never in real life be brought up on pedophilia charges. Tonight at 8, it's Seventh Heaven.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Born on this day, now dead. Mildred J. Hill.
Who's that?
She wrote the song Happy Birthday to You.
No way.
And this is no lie. She is in the Songwriting Hall of Fame.
For the song that sung the most of any song ever?
Don't you feel like that's kind of a spare song to have? Like, should you get in a Hall of Fame for that?
I mean, on one hand, it's spare, but at the other hand, nobody's taking a run at the throne. It's not like you know, everybody's like, all right, she knocked that one out. That
No,
I'm
I
not
mean,
making- yeah.
Chili's or Texas Roadhouse will try their own spin on it, but they can never get.
Oh my
What do you think?
God!
What is the
I hate
second?
that, hearing
What
that.
is the second most sung song?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Some religious
Feliz
song or
cumpleaños a ti. Probably. Did you think, was she wealthy? I feel like I've heard a story
Yeah.
about how she didn't
I'll
really
bet she
get
didn't
to make
get any
bank.
money.
Here's the second most.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's learning promotion.
I'm giving promotion.
Boy, you're on fire today.
And born on this day, now dead, Helen Keller. A favorite of Jake's.
Absolutely. You know why?
Because she can't hear, she can't see.
No.
Oh.
Those are unfortunate details about her life, but there's a reason you only know those two things about her, and it's because she was a very, very ardent socialist who spent a lot of her time trying to help out workers.
Yeah.
But they didn't want anybody to know about that part at that time, so they were like, hey, isn't this weird? She can't hear. And they just made that her legacy.
Right.
So
Nowhere in the school books.
Yeah,
does
no.
it say-
I think I might have learned that from him at this stage of my life, several, half a decade ago or so. They didn't want anybody to know that she was at every picket line she could find.
Huh.
Yeah.
Champion of the little
But
man.
it was actually just because she was confused.
She could find, yeah.
Yeah.
She just happened upon one.
Yeah, I walked into that one. Like she was walking into walls.
To be fair, the whole can't see, can't hear, and still talks and is
it's incredible.
Power, like that's an incredible story. It's
Yeah.
not like that was a spare story that they
No.
threw out there just because they didn't want you to know about the socialist.
No, you're right. It's an incredible note, but I also think they should have maybe told us a little more about what she was really passionate about. But who knows?
Yeah, it feels like when they tell you that story as a kid, they just kind of cut it off like, and then she's a teenager, and then
Yeah,
like,
and then that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
she can see. That's it. And then
Yeah.
she did some other things.
Yeah.
And your point is that she took all that and she did a lot of socialist reform or
Yeah, she was a supporter.
That's cool.
Comrade.
Probably wanted women to like be able to vote, stuff like that. Like, put the blinds back on her, or what? How can we?
God.
Died on this day, Joseph Smith.
Oh,
the
Mormon?
Mormon guy.
The Mormon leader.
You ever see
But
Book of
did
Mormon?
did he die?
Ooh, it's a good question.
Yes, I saw Book of Mormon. It's funny. Great songs.
Oh my God. Orlando, my city. How did you never see that?
I don't know.
Man, I saw it twice. Very uncomfortable scenes in there.
I feel like you.
Many people left Bass Hall, like people who just had season tickets. They're like 60, 65. And within 15 minutes, they're like, what the
Yeah.
It's like,
And the
all
part
right,
that
well,
they're.
you're walking out.
I was worried about what the Ugandans felt about that.
Oh, yeah,
It
it's-
really doesn't.
It's
They're like
pretty
baby.
racist.
They're baby fucking.
They're baby fucking.
Yeah.
Big old
Jake,
wieners.
I feel like you would pass for a Mormon. Like you could be in Book of Mormon.
That is easily the meanest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Early in the day. And I feel like it could get worse for you.
Going door to door. I do respect those guys, though. I saw some last week when it was the cool temps of like 95 relative to now.
Somewhat.
Door knockers.
Oh.
You know, and they're walking my neighborhood in dress clothes with backpacks because they got the books in there. And I'm like, commitment.
Do you respect them enough to answer the door when they knock on your door?
Yeah, but you know what I do. I haven't done it in a while, but what I used to do was we would debate.
Oh my God. There's not enough time in the day, Jake.
That's
They'll
the live version of Twitter.
They'll tire out. They have other doors to get to. So if you're just
And you're there with all the time in the world.
whatever, man. Baked on a Saturday or something.
He likes to go vote and debate the guys. You know, there's always someone there
Yeah.
ready to tell you how the school board's terrible and
Yeah.
we need to, get the liberals off the school board. Well,
Yeah.
he'll sit there with them for 15 or 20 minutes.
I need to meet your
until
wife.
they walk away.
She's
a saint.
I have so many questions for your
She's
wife.
a saint. I will say that the last time I went, evidence of a changed man, we moved on. They tried to
You're
engage
growing up
me,
a
and I
little
just
bit.
said, I'm not voting for your guy, and I went in and voted, and that was it.
But not before you recorded it.
I did. To be clear, they both yelled "roll" on it whenever I got out of the car to go vote. So
yeah, you have to.
Rob and Dan talked me into that.
Jake, how old are you?
38, 39 in a month and a half.
I feel like, and you guys tell me if this is true, I feel like men really just get much better after 35. Like until 35, they're just like ruled by other things.
Our brains are not
And
developed.
their brains are not developed. And they grow a heart at 35. This is what I think.
Yeah, sorry, you'll get there, bud.
You'll get there,
I'm
little
still in my
fella.
teed up years.
I've always been pretty soft and like I cry a lot. I'm a very emotional kid and person, but I also really like conflict. So
No,
if
I
there's an
understand.
opportunity for it, I'm like, fuck,
Well,
I got
it's
nothing
your-
to do.
it's your job
This is what
description.
I like doing.
But you're doing it, you're giving away the goods for free, you know?
Yeah, but also it's kind of like if LeBron would show up to an LA Fitness, it's like, I want to play against these amateurs. That's what it's like whenever I go vote.
You're keeping
Or when the
the
Mormons show up,
sword
it's
sharp.
like, look, this is what I do. So
Yeah, you're in it for the love of the game.
you brought
too.
in a ringer.
Yeah.
I'm going to remind everybody what we do. And they all tire out.
And also died on this day, still dead. We have, in 1920, Adolf Routhier. Routhier? There's no way that's how you pronounce that. But Adolf wrote the lyrics to "O Canada." Now, we have over here, "Happy Birthday to You."
That's wild.
And we have over here, "O Canada."
What is it about this day in history?
No, but my point is, what's better?
You're saying
Let's have some
Canada
more
guys
goals.
should be in the Hall of Fame, possibly instead.
Like, "Oh, Canada," that's a great song.
It's awesome.
It ends on a high. It's so great. "Happy Birthday to You" is really basic. But, so it's longevity. It's Jordan versus LeBron over here.
Yeah.
You've got more points than anyone ever, but also more shots than anyone ever.
Yeah, "Oh Canada" has always been cool to me. It sounds like a Russian anthem from like the Bolshevik era, you know, from like
Yes.
the early 1900s, where it's very sweeping and it's like, hell yeah. I feel fired up for my country when I hear that song. It doesn't sound like a child's song.
Can I bring up something that's been bothering me as I go to more sports games? I don't love our national anthem. And I don't know anybody that does.
Do you kneel?
How dare you?
No, no.
Kneel.
Protest?
Do you wear a hat just because you can?
No.
Like
I
a
put my
woman can.
hand
Women and military people.
over my heart like a good American. But I'm sitting there going, why? Why this one? Don't you think that it might be time to change the national anthem?
Yeah, I mean, we could make it "Happy Birthday." We have a bunch.
We could make it "Happy Birthday."
What about that "Boot in Your Ass" song?
That would work. That's certified. We have a bunch of Hawk Tour remixes. We could
I think now's the time.
auto-tune it and just lean into
I
the
think you
demise of society.
Change.org.
Was today in history?
We really do, man.
We did it.
We did it. We live streamed today.
From a
This
separate
is
location.
the first time we've
But this
ever...
is recorded, right? None of
Yes.
this went out live, right?
Well, do you know what live stream means?
When you say live stream, you don't mean live.
I do mean live. We're on now on YouTube.
It's right here.
On the world.
I know. I listened to you coming over here. On
Did
the
you really?
Twitters, on the Twitters. Yeah.
Did you like how we were teasing you?
Yeah.
We're promoting the hell out of Sarah Hepola
I know,
every
I
5
appreciate
minutes.
Did you hear why we got Julie out of here?
No, I missed that part.
Well, we didn't want her here while you were here because we didn't want you guys syncing up.
Oh, our periods.
Whoa, wait. Whoa, what are you saying?
Very, very, very thoughtful.
Our intern Rachel will reach out to you next week and see if
All right, I'll get my Clue app out. Track this thing.
Would you like to make any closing remarks or promote anything? Your finest, your latest work?
Disavow my participation in this podcast.
You say that every time.
No, I've
It
never
just
said it
embarrasses us.
before.
Oh.
I've never said it before.
So you will not be back, is what you're saying?
Always be back. I'm just gonna keep disavowing it.
Okay.
I love you guys. It's always fun to see you both. I do have one question. What's no puppets mean?
Oh, yeah, we forgot to do that. So it's kind of a long story, but back in 2016, in the aforementioned Hillary-Trump debates, they started yelling at each other about who was on the take with Vladimir Putin. And she said something like, yeah, well, of course, Putin loves you because he would love nothing more than a puppet in the White House. And as he's saying that, Trump starts going, no puppet, no puppet, you're the puppet, no puppet. And it's electric. And then I just started saying it
From
all the time.
everything I
Yeah, here you
see,
go.
has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of
No
the United
puppet,
States.
no puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
And then I just started like TC and I used to call like Cowboys games live, kind of like what we do with our watch parties. And we eventually stopped doing this, but the first year we did it, we would get fucked up. Like he would ingest whatever, I would drink whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a night game, and so it's probably like 11 o'clock at night. And the Cowboys had like a really big like comeback, walk-off division win, and I was borderline, Sarah, blackout. But I had a headset on.
I have trademarked
Now,
that term, so I appreciate
I was
you.
not on top of anyone.
Well, no.
But I did have a headset on, and we've been drinking whiskey all night, and the Cowboys won, and I just started drunkenly yelling, no puppet. So that's the drop that we play, is me just yelling, no puppet. No puppet.
So
you're
that's
the
actually
puppet."
you saying that?
Yeah.
Just
But he slows it down.
Super drunk.
And he slows it down to make it even worse, which is completely unnecessary because
I've
I'm
never
already.
done that.
No.
So it's not quite that bad, but it's bad.
Oh my
Yeah, there we go.
gosh, this has so much more depth and meaning now.
Yeah.
And it's the name of our
It's the
company.
name of our company.
Uh,
We're no puppet.
Because we are not puppets
yeah,
to the man.
Yeah, that's the story.
that's a great story.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm glad she remembered that. We talked about it in the break. She brings it up as a closing remark. That's solid. You should do a podcast.
I'll think about it.
Adios, mofo.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk to it. Spit on that thing. 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 Hawk to it. Spit on that thing.
No puppet.